afternoon, football fans, and welcome to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, the conclusion of NFC Week, right here with the NFC North, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. My goodness, it's been a week, has it not? Oh my gosh, I have enjoyed this week so much. All of you guys tuning in, showing love, being a part of this. You guys are amazing, and thank you for making this show what it is. Here we are now, finishing up with the NFC North. We have gotten through 16 teams. Through 12 teams, I'm sorry. By the end of today, we will have gotten through half of the NFL. 16 teams in, 16 teams to go. Today we are talking NFC North. Can the Bears actually get something going this year? Can this team utilize their young quarterback, Fields, and will this defense rise to the occasion of, teams like the Packers? Will those Skull Vikings actually look competitive for their first time in a few years? I'm just saying, they've gone down the drain since their better years, like 6-7 years ago. Can they get back to what they once were twice, I feel, in the last 2 decades? Late 2000s and mid-2000 teams, they were a solid team and then kind of fell apart 2 times in a row. After that, we have those Lions. We're talking Lions. So by the way, we're talking Da Bears with Adam Karnick. Brand new to the show today, Stephen A. Turner with the Vikings. We're talking Lions with Zachary Puplis. Can those Lions turn things around with an actually decent roster? And, will Go Pack Go continue to dominate even after all the Aaron Rodgers drama? We're talking Packers with Marcelo Vargas. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in live to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, the conclusion of NFC Week, NFC North Day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans. Well, here we are yet again, 4 days in a row. We made it. Yay! We now are closing in on all 4 divisions in the NFC, and it has been a great week. We have had some awesome guests. So excited for today as well because, it's the coldest division in the NFL. And there is so much to get to. This is one of the more, in my opinion, like wild card type of divisions. Yes, we know that Rodgers and his Packers dominate when he's on the field. When he's not on the field, like I said, for some reason, I've said this many times on this show in the last couple of years, when Rodgers don't play, it's like the Packers forget how to play football, even on defense. As I always say, I didn't know Rodgers played strong safety. I get it, his presence means a lot, but my goodness, or his presence on the field means a lot, but they fall apart. Regardless, he's ready to go. He's back with the Packers, and but how will they look now without Devontae Adams? Man, that's going to be different. The Lions actually have a better team than I thought they did, looking at their depth chart, but will this team actually be put to work, and will they actually look like a team that can compete? Really, I feel like second place is up for grabs, but then again, is first place up for grabs? Is it? Because is Aaron Rodgers and this Packer team going to be that strong? Is that defense really what everybody thinks it is? I think they're pretty solid, but once again, how far can this team go? How long does Aaron Rodgers really have? Or will this team continue to dominate even when the Jordan Love era starts? We have that going on. The Bears, their young rookie, last year rookie, their young quarterback now, 1 year in, defense is getting better. Are they gaining on the Packers? Are they all gaining on the Packers? Are the Lions looking better? Are they going to fall apart again? Are the Bears actually looking to be a better than somewhat middle-of-the-road team? And are the Vikings still in their decline? They've had lots and lots of talent go through those purple uniforms in the last couple of years, but no Lombardi. Still no Lombardi for this franchise. When will that be? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, this is going to be a fun show, and I'm really excited. Once again, we're talking Bears with Adam Karnick coming up in just a few minutes here. Then we're going to head on over from the windy city of Chicago up north to the land of a thousand lakes, Minnesota, to talk with Stephen A. Turner. That's actually going to be a live interview recorded with, we're going up first, pre-recorded with Adam, then a live interview with Stephen A. Turner. First time here on the show, talking Vikings, right before his podcast, as a matter of fact, pretty cool. And then we're talking with Zachary Puplis, our very own Zachary Puplis, talking Lions, and we're going to finish off with Marcelo Vargas, by way of Mexico City, talking Packers. This is going to be a great show, y'all, and I hope you're ready to rock and roll. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Once again, we're ending off NFC week with a bang, talking the coldest division in the NFL, the NFC North. Big shout out to Taryn here in the chat room, heading back to work, but thanks, man. He says you're going to kill it. Thank you, brother. You always kill it, man, so thanks for doing that, for showing some love, and he said he'll be back in about an hour, I assume, after work. So thank you to everybody tuning in today, and, well, let's have ourselves a great show. With that said, when we get back, we are talking Bears with our very own Adam Karnick of Chi-Town Weekly. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days, the conclusion of NFC Week with the NFC North, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Some say that Indiana is just a flyover state. Flatlands and cornfields, barns and country roads. What if I told you Indiana is the crossroads of America? What if I told you in all other states basketball is just basketball? In Indiana, basketball is life. Crowded high school basketball gyms on a Friday night, and every barn with a basketball rim and a frayed, worn-out net. If you're interested in the heartbeat of America, and if you're interested in sports, if you have Hoosier running through your veins, the Crossroads Pod with Aaron X is made for you. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Each and every week, the Crossroad Pod covers all of Indiana sports. The pride of the horseshoe of the Indianapolis Colts. The blue-collar, bold swagger of the Indiana Pacers. The relentless pursuit of the sixth banner for the Indiana Hoosiers. The swing of the hammer of the Purdue Boilermakers. The swoop of the Cardinals of Ball State. The summoning of the echoes of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The growl of the Bulldogs of Butler. The intensity of an Indiana fever. The chop of the Indianapolis Indians. At the Crossroads Pod, if it is Indiana, we've got you covered. More than cornfields. More than country back roads. The Crossroads of America. Join me, Aaron X, every week. It's nothing but net.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Karnick, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, as I said in the introduction, we are going to take a trip to Chicago. First up on our journey around the NFC, the very cold NFC North. One of my all-time favorite divisions just because of how freaking cold it is up there. I enjoy it, and man, it's a great place to be for football season, I'm sure. So, in our journey around the NFC North, by the way, you're listening to day number 4 of 8 divisions in 8 days right here on 3 and Out, ending off NFC week in the Arctic, if you will. I'm just kidding. But it is going to be a blast and a great way to end off NFC week once again in the NFC North. So hope you guys are enjoying 8 divisions in 8 days. And we are just going to keep it rolling here. So we now have 12 teams down and 4 to go. And once again, we're starting our journey off in the NFC North in the great city of Chicago, where the pizza is better than any other pizza in the world. Go ahead, challenge me. Go ahead. I like grown man pizza. Big, giant monster pizza. If my slice of pizza isn't 3 pounds, it's not really a pizza. I'm just saying, y'all. So that's how I feel. Don't get me wrong. I'm down with some of the, when I'm really hungry and we want some pizza, just the regular old pizzas are good, But if you want a delicious pizza, it's all about Chicago deep dish. So with that said, hashtag the Bears, ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about those Bears. He is all the way from... Well, he's not necessarily from there. He's a little north of it in Michigan, but it's all good. He's a great dude. Glad to have him here for his zillionth time on the show. Last time he just had a ball because we went on for almost an hour. We both had a ball talking Chicago Bears, and it was awesome. And, well, here he is again. I think it's the second or third time doing this actual segment for 8 divisions in 8 days. And, well, here to talk about those Chicago Bears and start us off, ladies and gentlemen, he is diehard Bears fan, diehard Chicago fan, and the host of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, and the co-host of The Neutral Zone, also here on IE Sports Radio, along with Mr. Zach. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the one, the only, Mr. Adam Karnick. What's going on, Adam? How you doing today, brother?
Doing all right, Larry. How are you today?
I am doing the best I can. I really am. Just hanging out and hanging in there, doing the dang thing, man. Just trying to enjoy the rest of the summer, Then good old work picks back up in August. But hey, you know what? I'll take teacher life any day because, I get a little summer off. It's kind of nice. So how about you, man? How have you been?
Oh, it has been busy. We'll just leave it at busy. Life never slows down, especially when you've got a toddler at home. So I know you've gotten to learn a little bit about that since you and Cecilia had yourselves a busy spring, and maybe sometime you'll figure out what it's like to have the kids in there too. But let me tell you what, the kids get involved, and suddenly life becomes very busy, but it's great. It's fantastic. Loving every second of it.
Hey, that's beautiful to hear, Adam. And yeah, we, once again, 2 months in, and, well, the children are coming. We know that for a fact. We just don't exactly know whenever we're blessed with them. But we are just enjoying it day by day and just excited, man. The careers are starting up and all these great things. So, yeah, man, we're definitely excited to head on over, in the direction of Karnick land right now after marriage, children, and all the fun stuff that goes with it, man. So we're really excited for that. So, by the way, congratulations on your new little one, the kitty. Adorable.
Oh yeah, and then we add a 4-legged furry companion into the mix. Oh yeah, all kinds of just never a dull moment. And she is I can't tell who's more excited, my daughter or the cat. But anyway, we digress. We could go off and do an hour on just that. But I know that's not why everyone's here.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, I love me some cats, so I'm sure. Oh man, she's adorable. So, congratulations on your new addition to the family, by the way. So with that said, Adam, let's rock and roll, man, and talk about the Bears. Well, first things first, Adam. The Chicago Bears, man. Let's just put it like this. Chicago just has these sparks. Like, every time I saw the Bears play last year, it's crazy. Because it's like, there's moments where you're like, hey, this looks like a foot... Okay, never mind. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, you almost get to football teams sometimes, because they look so solid. You guys, courtesy of FBschedules.com, looking at the good old schedule from last year. I still remember you and Taryn going back and forth about the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and well, that didn't end so well for you guys. 34-14 loss. You would, however, then go over to defeat you. I mean, come on now. You played the two teams in the Super Bowl in your first 2 weeks. And the funny part is once again, you lose by 20 points to the Rams in week 1 on the road, and then Cincinnati comes into your guys' house and you beat them 20-17. I just think that's pretty crazy. I didn't even realize that you played them. The Bears played them the first 2 weeks of the season. And then you drop one to Cleveland. I don't know what happened there. Then you went on over. Then Detroit came to town and you sent them away with a loss. You headed on over to Vegas, and well, that didn't end well for the Raiders. That was a very frustrating game for us, trust me. But you guys left with a nice victory. And then it just kind of seemed like Chicago forgot how to play football because you guys dropped 5 straight. You beat Detroit because you're supposed to. And then you lose 3 in a row. Another skid. You get kind of happy winning 2 games in a row. And then you just end the season off with a nasty little loss there and a season sweep, by the way, from Minnesota. And that's how it would end. 6-11, 2-4 in the North. Just, Adam, can you give it to us, man? Sum up last season. How were you all throughout the season? Did you need any type of anxiety release? I mean, did you need to, did you need some frequent massages around your head to, make you feel like you're not going to explode? I mean, just kidding. But how was it last year for you, Adam?
Frustrating is the easiest way to describe last season. That breakdown there, and not only did you have all the ups and downs of the wins and losses and dropping 8 out of 9 and all that, you had the constant, who is going to be the quarterback? You started with Andy Dalton being the starter when everyone wanted to see Justin Fields, the guy they traded up to go get, the guy that I was as shocked as everybody that I called it in our draft preview last year. It was, hey, if Justin Fields makes it out of the top 10, look out, the Bears are going to come for him. And then A, he did, and then B, the Bears came for him and got him, and then they didn't play him. They refused to put him out there until Andy Dalton got hurt in the second game, and then it was, we have to play him now, and then they refused to actually try to develop Fields. It was, no, we're gonna run the offense the way that we feel it needs to be run, and Justin's just gonna have to catch up and not be a rookie anymore. And it was a disaster. It was a train wreck. You brought up, I liked how you brought up, though, at times as you were looking at it, it was, hey, this looks like a football. Oh, never mind. The quintessential example of that was the Monday night game in Pittsburgh last season, where the Bears entered the fourth quarter down, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but they went into the fourth quarter down only for Justin Fields to put on a clinic. He started shredding the Steelers. And we were watching, and it was in real time. My reaction was of Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix, where he's just sitting there and he is the one. We found the guy, only to have the defense blow it. And my reaction at the time, I mean, Fields drives down, they take the lead, the defense gives up the lead in probably 45 seconds. And my reaction was, cool, we get to see Justin Fields just do it again. And by golly, he almost did. It was a missed field goal away from winning the game. That was effectively the season last year, was you got to see small incremental things from Justin Fields, and then the team as a whole crumble around him, and the coaching staff as a whole crumble around him, and just the whole thing was a house of cards, and it all fell apart in the end. And so that's why you wind up with the general manager getting axed and the head coach getting axed, and now whole new regime and whole new situation up there at Hallis Hall running the Bears now. So lots of changes heading into this season. Needed changes.
Seriously. Well, we can go ahead and start talking about those changes. Courtesy of overthecap.com. There were some departures. There were some pickups. Let's talk about them, Adam. So, start with some of the departures. Khalil Mack is heading back to the division he started in, except for wearing baby blue this time as a Charger. He will leave the Bears. Allen Robinson is now a Ram. You did have some choice words in the chat room earlier when it came to Allen Robinson on today's show. Of course, this is Monday, everybody. This interview was on Monday. I know the show will be on Thursday, but this is Monday. So, but Adam Karnick in the chat room for the NFC West show today. But Andy Dalton, yeah, that was a big loss. Just kidding. Head over to the Saints. Nick Foles will head on over to the Colts. And, just a couple different moves here, because players going here, going there. Marquise Goodwin head to the Seahawks. And Artie Burns also heading over to the Seahawks. But then again, some pickups here you guys had. Let's take a look here. Who else did you guys? I'm just kind of skimming through it here. Some pickups. Tavon Young coming over from the Ravens. You guys will have Nicholas Morrow, linebacker from the Raiders, heading on over. Ryan Griffin, tight end from the Jets. So, I mean, really, Muhammad from the Bears. We will have, let's see, here goes. I mean, overall, some pretty solid pickups. You guys had a pretty busy offseason, in my opinion, in free agency alone, because of all these different departures and pickups. But I'm going to go ahead and shut up now and let you have the floor. What do you think, Adam? How about these free agency departures and pickups this season?
It's a roster overhaul. You had Ryan Pace departs, Ryan Poles comes in, Matt Nagy departs, Matt Eberflus comes in at general manager and head coach respectively. And Poles has been incredibly busy in remaking the roster the way he wants to start off, getting rid of a lot of the Pace guys. You mentioned the big ones. Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, and of course Khalil Mack gone. The shocking one to me with Khalil Mack, and by the way, those three guys, the Bears still are owing them a lot of money in dead cap space to those three guys. So, the fun in salary cap space. But the shocker was the Khalil Mack trade. And not necessarily that he got traded, but what they got back in return from the Chargers, that they got a second-round pick and a sixth-round pick. I know myself included, a lot of Bears fans were stunned that was all Khalil Mack was worth in a trade market. We were obviously deluded into thinking he would be worth more than that. But a lot of the other guys, they're stripping this roster down to the bare bones and starting over. A lot of guys, Akeem Hicks, that was somebody you hadn't mentioned, but another guy that's going to be gone. He was he had become a square peg in a round hole situation where he's a great 3-4 defensive end, but the Bears are now going to be running a 4-3 base cover 2 system, very similar to what we saw during the Lovie Smith era. That's what Matt Eberflus, the new head coach, that's the system and style he knows defensively, he trusts defensively, and so now you've got to rebuild the defense completely around that. So you see guys like Al-Qadim Muhammad come in. You see some of these different hand-in-the-ground style edge rushers as opposed to guys who will stand up and rush from a two-point stance, a la Khalil Mack. So you see a lot of changeover in this roster for just one off season. It's tremendous the amount of work that Ryan Poles has put in. It is definitely going to result in a ton of salary cap flexibility for 2023 and beyond, but it does mean for 2022 it's going to be a rough product to look on the field, to watch on the field. I mean, when off-season acquisitions like wide receiver Byron Pringle are one of the big acquisitions, a guy that for his career has not a ton of stats to his name, not a ton of money to his name. You're talking a guy that has 7 career touchdowns in 3 seasons. Not a ton of experience coming in, but hopefully it will lead to better things for 2023 and beyond. But it does mean that 2022 is going to be a bit of a rough year.
You, of course, as always, hit it right on the head. It's crazy to think of how close this team seems like they can get. I mean, the last time, oh my gosh, I mean, if I'm blanking here, there are some decent teams in the future, but my goodness, we haven't seen a dominant type of Bears team since the mid-2000s, we really haven't. And it's crazy to think because you're like, man, how long do rebuilds take, for some teams. So I trust me, I'm a Raider fan, so I ask myself that all the time. But, it's crazy to think, this team has it. Sometimes, we talked about it, sometimes they look like a football team. Sometimes they look like, I don't know what they're doing out there. But, I really do see that, the moves are being made. There's a lot going on, lots of changes. Really, this team just has so much, I don't know, there's so much to do, I feel like, but at the same exact time, there's still a lot of positive, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain with the Bears. The Bears are just a different animal on their own, wow, I could see that, lots of different moves, tons and tons of moves here in free agency, and that draft was also something to watch this year, Adam. This past year, of course, Fields would be drafted. No first-round pick for you guys this year, but Kyler Gordon, corner out of Washington, a guy that I know, Pac-12 guy, still very irritated that stupid USC and UCLA are leaving that, whatever. That's not this discussion, but anyway, Pac-12 guy here, certainly seen him around. Solid athlete. You guys will also pick up Quan Brisker, safety out of Penn State. Once again, we see the secondary here. Liz Jones Jr. out of Tennessee. This wide receiver was very good, pretty solid. So, you guys had some pretty good pickups. Overall, what did you feel about this draft, Adam? I'm pretty sure you weren't as excited as last year's draft, obviously. But, I don't know, how did you feel about it?
Well, nothing was going to be as exciting. Nothing will ever be as exciting as trading up and getting a quarterback, first of all. But, yeah, it was a very interesting draft overall. At the time, I remember the thinking of going with defensive backs with both of the first 2 picks. The thought was, who the hell is Justin Fields going to be throwing to? Come on, guys. We need weapons. We need targets for Fields. We lost Allen Robinson. We're not having solid targets. Who are we? How are we going to build around Fields? But then you look at the two guys that they actually wound up taking, Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. Excellent selections in and of themselves. Kyler Gordon, a fun little nugget on him. First of all, he's playing in college. He played opposite a first-round selection in Trent McDuffie. So you know that Gordon was seeing certainly his fair share of targets there in Washington. In his college career, he did not surrender a touchdown pass. If he was guarding the guy, his man did not score in 18 career starts.
Wow.
You love seeing a statistic like that. Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. I don't love the school he comes from, but that's a whole other discussion. The program itself, you know that professional players come out of Penn State, and Jaquan Brisker certainly has all the makings of a starting caliber strong safety in the NFL, of being an in-the-box, run-stuffer, playmaker at safety. And Eddie Jackson, if he can get his head right and he can kind of play center field and be that ball hawk safety, which the cover two system can utilize that skill set, Jaquan Brisker can be the perfect complement to that. Sort of like when they had Adrian Amos back in 2018, the last time that this team was really great, when Adrian Amos when he and Jackson were, it was basically, look, Jackson, you play for the ball in the air. Adrian's going to play for the ball on the ground and just take people out. That's what Jaquan Brisker can be. Jaquan Brisker can be that assassin in the secondary that they don't have. Velus Jones Jr., to me, a lot of hype has been made about this kid. I don't want to buy into the hype on Velus Jones Jr. simply because he's already, 25 years old, 26 years old. He's an old rookie by NFL standards. I feel like with Jones, he could certainly turn into a serviceable wide receiver, but I think people are going a little overboard on the kid with potential superstar. I hope he proves me wrong, but I think people are a little overhyped on him. As for the rest of the class, you've got a lot of potential, a lot of day three offensive linemen that you're kind of hoping to find a diamond in the rough kind of a guy. Somebody like, certainly some intriguing numbers there. Guys like Braxton Jones out of Southern Utah, out of the Big Sky. He only gave up 3 sacks in 3 seasons, but he was playing in the Big Sky. What is that really going to turn into? Another guy that I'm intrigued as all get out by is Dominique Robinson, an edge rusher that they got out of Miami, Ohio. Larry, you have played football. Tell me if you have ever heard of this. Dominique Robinson, he's an edge rusher. He's only played that position for the last 2 seasons. What position did he play before that? Wide receiver. Have you ever heard of a guy going from playing wide receiver to playing edge rusher? I've heard of guys changing positions, but I've never heard of this before. There's no comp I can come to. I am fascinated by this kid. I have no idea if he's going to turn out to be anything other than just an athletic freak, but I'm fascinated to see what this kid is going to turn into, simply because I've been watching football a long time. I've been following football a long time. I have never heard or read this story before. I'm fascinated to see what this kid can be.
That's insane. He was a wide receiver. Wait, one more time. Who was that again? I want to highlight this guy now. Who was that?
I know, right? It's so unusual. This is Dominique Robinson. He most recently was from Miami of Ohio. And unfortunately, I don't have all my notes in front of me exactly of his backstory. I had it all for the draft coverage that I did when the Bears took him. He was a wide receiver originally in college, and then he himself admitted that he wasn't being as productive as he would like. He had played defense in high school, and he kind of went to the coaches and said, "Hey, what do you think of this idea?" And they were, "We'd love to have you. Absolutely, we'd have room for you in our edge rushing room." And the guy turned around last season. He had 4.5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss. Now again, he's playing in the MAC. He's not playing in. He's not playing in one of the 5 conferences, but the MAC is nothing to sneeze at as far as Group 5 conferences are concerned. And I've never heard of this before. I've heard of guys. Okay, you played quarterback in college and now you're a wide receiver in the NFL, or you play a different skill position, but you're on the same side of the ball. I've never heard of a guy. I've heard of guys changing on the other side of the ball. Like one of my favorite Bears growing up as a kid, James Big Cat Williams, was originally a defensive lineman and then switched to play offensive tackle once he got in the pros. I have never heard of a guy playing wide receiver and then saying, "Nah, I'm going to play edge rusher now," and being able to be drafted into the NFL as an edge rusher. It's just a fascinating story.
I mean, what I could really see in that is he's got a wicked first step. I mean, off the line, receivers have to be so, as our head coach says over on the high school at Mount Varsity. I love it how he says defensive linemen are like twitchy guys, and it's the truth. I can definitely identify as a twitchy kind of guy myself on the line, fast feet, also strong. But I mean, so you have to have that, but. My goodness, if that's like a bigger wide receiver, he has to be. I mean, to me, all I can see is like Anquan Bolden or Megatron, like edge rushing. Like that's what I can see. Unless he's like, if he's a smaller guy, it's even crazier. But I would think he's a bigger wide receiver. I mean,
yeah. I mean, here's his measurables. He's 6'5", 252. He's not Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he's not Julian Edelman. No.
Yeah, he's not Julian. You're exactly. He's not Kyler Murray. The dude's 6'5".
He's a freaking giant. Okay, now what that tells me is if he was a wide receiver at one point, that is going to show you how freakishly athletic he is to play wide receiver, but then to come down to the trenches and still be that tough. So that tells me he was a bad dude at wide receiver. So, oh my gosh, if you can put him in the trenches and he can deliver, I want to see this guy play, man. I want to see some highlights or something. This is amazing. I'm really excited for this player coming on over to the Bears, man.
Yeah, I gotta admit, here in his rookie season, especially early, I'm not expecting much from him at all. I have to temper my expectations. I really have to remind myself of his history. But even if all he's doing is they have a third down package for him where he can come in and just pin his ears back, because he's not going to be comfortable defending the run, especially early. He's going to have to learn how to defend the run and how to hold his ground and absorb the play flowing in his direction. That's going to take time. But if he can, even if they can just figure out a package of, hey, it's third down and long, pin your ears back and go find the quarterback, even if that's all he accomplishes this season, that's going to be fascinating to watch from this class, from this guy. I'm very excited by this kid. It's going to be so much fun to watch, even if it's very modest results from his rookie season.
Oh, I agree. This is going to be awesome. What a player, man. I mean, how about that? I mean, this is pretty awesome. So we have a pretty solid foundation, it seems. Went through free agency, lots of switcheroos made there. We have the draft solid. Looks like we got a freak of nature type player coming with it. Really excited for this. Now it's time to get on over to this season, Adam. So, taking a look at the season, courtesy of FBSschedules.com, what do we have here? I see the NFC. Oh, no, I don't see the NFC West. I see the AFC South is in there. Oh, no, AFC East. It's the AFC East. I see Buffalo. I see the Jets, Miami, and, yep, they're all there. Yep, and the Patriots.
Both Easts, NFC and AFC. This season.
Yep, I see them. Washington, Dallas. Yep, so, okay. And the outliers... Let's see, who are those two miscellaneous teams? Atlanta from the AFC South and Houston from the so NFC South and AFC South. You guys got one of each. Okay, this is something. And then, of course, the San Francisco. That's the AFC West. So, NFC West. So, interesting here. What do you think? With the last year, seems like a lot of changes were made. All kinds of different directions. Adam, what are you thinking, man? After we just had a giant discussion on the draft, some special players, what do you see this team doing this year, given the schedule that we just named off?
This is a transition year. This is a rebuilding year without any question, without any doubt. This is a rebuilding year for the Bears. Obviously, the schedule right now does look like it's got some what should be winnable games in it. Looking at week 3 against the Texans, week 4 against the Giants. Who knows what the Commanders game could be? Of course we've got the Lions twice, we've got the Vikings twice. Unfortunately, we've got the Packers twice. We do play the Jets. We do play the Jets. There's certainly potential for wins in here. The fun and beautiful and irritating thing about the NFL is it truly is a week-to-week league. And for me, I always look at it no more than 2 or 3 weeks ahead when trying to really predict how something's going to go, because you just never know who's going to get hurt. It's as much not only who are you playing, but when are you playing them? Who's hurt for your team? Who's hurt for their team? Who's riding a hot streak? Who's coming off of a bye, etc. All those fun little quirky things. So, in general, I feel like the Bears are set up to have a lot of losses this season. 6-11 a year ago, 6-11 should be right in line of what you're looking at for this season, somewhere in that 4 to 8 win range for this team. Could it be more? Sure, of course it could always be more, because you never know what weird or goofy things could happen, or maybe the fact that Luke Getsy, the new offensive coordinator, is honest to God going to be building the offense around Justin Fields instead of insisting that Justin insert himself into the offense, building around your quarterback skill set. Who knows? Maybe they could take off and Justin has some incredible stretches and they win some games that you'd otherwise look at and think, gosh, what do you mean they win that game? What do you mean they went into Lambeau and beat the Packers in week 2, or they handled the Buffalo Bills in week 16. What do you mean they beat them? Who would have thought that? But at the same time, the exact opposite is true too, that they could, because there's so little supporting talent around Justin right now, that they wind up in that 3 or 4 win range, and they wind up with a really high pick next season. And I would put 8 at the high end of the wins, and I would put 3 at the absolute low end of the wins. This is a rebuilding year for the team. It's a year in flux.
That's a great prediction, Adam. I honestly, I hate to sit here and agree and be like, yeah, Adam, the team sucks. Like, no, it's not even about that. I mean, realistically, you hit it on the head. I mean, so many moving pieces, so many things. I mean, there's so many question marks on this team. It's like it's ridiculous or absurd to try to even, to try to even give them something bigger than those records. So I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm all about the fans too, who were like, "No, we're gonna break out this year and be 10-win team," and it could happen, Adam. We could be sitting here saying this in January, laugh over this conversation and be like, "Oh my gosh, we never saw this coming with the Bears." I mean, anything can happen, but at the end of the day,
I'd love it. Sign me up. Sign me up right now. I'd love to have an 11-win team and have some playoff games at Soldier Field and watch my team in the playoffs. I would love nothing more than that this season. Don't get me wrong.
It would be amazing. Trust me, I would love to see it myself. Because seeing a team that doesn't look too promising be promising, those are the stories you live for. You know, the ones that you love sports for. So, I mean, I totally get you. It's just, you know, a more realistic approach, and I totally understand that. So, overall, Adam, I'll tell you, right now, my thoughts on these Bears are the same exact thing. I think you guys have a solid chance of winning a good amount of games, but you know, maybe not taking the division, but you know, certainly being a team that is gelling, and next season could be something very special depending on how well this season does go. Trades, free agency next year, another draft. I mean, it's true, totally rebuilding. So with that said, Adam, we've reached the end of the segment, but man, there's always this fun part. Now, I get it, as a team looking up basically at some of these teams, but then again, not looking up. Adam, it's kind of crazy. The Packers, they're the Packers, but how long are they going to be these Packers? You know, I mean, are they, as we see, Aaron Rodgers didn't go nowhere, but Devontae Adams did. Are they going to be, you know, once again, he makes receivers. It doesn't really matter who's out there. I mean, the defense seems to play well when he's playing. When he doesn't, they don't. I mean, you know, but then again, the Vikings, I don't know. The Vikings have been tanking. I mean, they've been falling apart for years. I mean, it's just hard to, I don't know. The Lions, that's about it for the Lions. So, I mean, it's just, what I'm trying to say is, if you take out the Packers and replace them with the Texans, like in their current state, or the Jaguars, how well do the Bears do now? So I don't know. I want to know though, man. I mean, that's a great question if you want to answer that. But actually, that is actually a damn good question. I want to know, how would you feel if a team that was on the same level right now as the Bears, Vikings, and Lions, I mean, how do you think the chances would go up? I mean, playoffs are probably something different, but really, man, I mean, isn't that fascinating to think about? If the Packers weren't, I mean, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, if we subbed out the Packers for, I don't know, give me any team from the NFC East, they all suck. It would be a very different division, and we'd be talking about a very different thing. Unfortunately, the Packers are still in the NFC North, and that bad man is still up there in Green Bay. I don't like it. I do not like that Rodgers is still there. I was really looking forward to being done with him. But, all right, he's back.
You know,
I'm so ready to be done with him. I'm so ready to be done.
Every year, Adam's like, "Is he leaving? Is he leaving? Is he leaving?" He said, "No, he's back."
The worst part of it. Okay, I got to do this, and then I know we've got the big segment coming up. The worst part of it was when he missed that game last year because of COVID, and Jordan Love started. It was, oh no. The Packers figured it out. They realized just how screwed they'll be if they'll let Aaron Rodgers know, if they let him go. There's no way they let him go now. They will give him everything that he wants. They screwed up in reverse. They realized just how bad Jordan Love is. No, this was supposed to be. They were going to hit it. They were going to hinge everything on Jordan Love, and it was going to be beautiful to watch them become a 2-win team. And instead, he misses a game because of COVID, and they realized. One more movie quote. It was like from Basher in Ocean's 11 where he says, now they know their weakness and they're sorting it out. They're fixing the problem. The Packers figured out that if they get rid of Aaron Rodgers, they're screwed, and they fixed it. And I could not be more miserable because of
it. You're too much, Adam. I'll tell you right now, man. This team, I don't know. The Bears just have, I don't know. The Bears would have I think a different type of season. This is those dang Packers, and it's funny because it's 2 games. But hey, I don't know. It's what it is. Crazy things have happened, and a 1-1 is nice with them. It'd be amazing if you guys were to sweep them one day and bust out, break out. I don't know, but let's have some fun here. You know how this segment goes, Adam. There are 3 other teams in this division that you clearly don't like. You've definitely expressed how you felt about them Packers right now, but hey, it's all good. This is the segment we like to call Stick It To 'Em. You know all about it, Adam, and what is going on? Let's do this, man. How do you feel about those other 3 teams in the division going into this season? And, don't hesitate to hide how you feel about them, pretty much your whole life. Adam, the floor is always yours, brother. Let's do this, man. Stick it to 'em.
I was going to say, do I ever hesitate in this segment? I hope that I haven't. Well, first up, we got to talk about the Lions. The comforting thing about the Bears being in a rebuilding season is we know that we're not going to be at the bottom of the division. No matter how bad we get, there's always the Lions there to keep us comforting at the bottom. So that's a very reassuring and reflecting thing. So it's very nice to watch Coach Kneecaps and the Motor City Pussycats keep us company at the bottom of the division this season. As for the Vikings, they are what the Lions used to be, the team that always figures out how to do the very least with a lot of talent. They have got so much talent on that offense with those wide receivers, but they still have Kirk Cousins, who he's just good enough to be 14th in the to just technically be there in the top half of quarterbacks in the NFL. They have got to pick a lane, and they have got to figure this out if they're the Vikings. In the meantime, they get to continue to live in that also-ran spot in the division. They'll steal a couple of games, but they're going to be on the outside looking in come January, which means the Packers are, of course, going to be the odds-on favorites to win the division. I swear, sometime in my life, the situation is going to be reversed, and it is going to be glorious, and I'm going to love it. But for at least this season, I have to watch Aaron Rodgers completely dominate the NFC North yet again. Enjoy it while you can, Packers fans. Hopefully it's going to end sometime soon, but unfortunately it's not going to be this year. The one thing I will say is it does seem like they do get into the playoffs and they can't figure out how to win once they get there. So there is something to be said for that, at least.
Adam Carnick, where is that damn applause button, man? What a segment. I mean, you never disappoint. I love this. You put so much into it, and it's I know it's effortless for you, but it's just awesome, and you definitely don't hold back. I love it. Every time we do this segment, it is amazing. Certainly amazing stuff, as always, and so glad to have you on tonight's show, man. Today's show, of course, as I mentioned, this is Monday night, but the show is being aired on Thursday, so thank you. You started off the NFC North with a bang. Like I said, next up, we head on over to, so where are we going after this? We're heading on over to Minnesota. Oh, no, sorry, no, we're not. Yes, we are. Minnesota, then after that, Detroit, and then the Packers to end it off. Look, this is going to be a great show. I already know it, and way to start things off. Mr. Adam Carnick, where can all these die-hard Chicago Bears fans find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter. Follow the show, Chi-Town Weekly, every Monday night. Right now, I am Monday nights, 7 o'clock Central, at IESRC on Twitter, or you follow along with me personally on Twitter, at Adam_Karnik, Karnik. Do not put a C anywhere in there. There are no C's in that name. Follow along with me there. I try to have fun. I try to stay level-headed, but sometimes the emotions get a little better while you're watching the game. But we try to have some fun with it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Adam, it's been a pleasure as always, man. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your fandom and talking about them Bears. Have a wonderful rest of your night, man. God bless you and your family. Take care, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, Larry. Sounds good.
Take care, brother. Have a good one.
All right.
All righty, y'all. That is going to do it. Adam, man, awesome stuff as always. And glad to have him here tonight. Well, with that said, you guys, that's going to do it for Chicago. But the show is just heating up. Oh, yeah. As I mentioned, we are on our way to Minnesota next. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days. Day number 4 of the finale of NFC Week as we talk NFC North. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct fit for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking Vikings after this.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
What's going on, everyone? Are you a fan of the greatest sport in the world? Then do I have the show for you. This is the Soccer Scoreboard Show, hosted by me, Andrew Hagenball, where I will take you on a journey around the world of soccer, talking important news, scores from all major leagues, including some you may never heard of before, tournaments, and so much more. Be sure you tune in every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion, coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Metello, the host of the Yinza Report, right here on IU Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IU Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Here we are, as promised. This is actually a live one, not a recorded interview. We're live on the show right now. And calling in for his first time of hopefully many, he is die-hard Minnesota Vikings fan and overall great guy. It's really, really cool to have him here today. He is going to be talking about his Skol Vikings, and he is the host of, let's see here, looks like the host of, what do we have?
Live at 5.
I'm loving it, man. Looking at him, where is that? I was trying to find it, but looking forward, man. He's has tons of great stuff he does, lots of great coverage on his show. He says he covers a lot of local type stuff, high school stuff, and I really love that. You guys know me here on the station. I really love that type of deal, and in my opinion, that's even better content than the bigger stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, glad to have him here for his first time, hopefully many, many times. The one, the only, Mr. Stephen A. Turner. What's going on, man? How you doing today, man?
That was a great intro, man. That's a lot to live up to. That intro is going to be hard to top, man. But it's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm a huge Vikings fan. Do cover a lot of sports locally. Cover a little college here as well. Cover a little Kentucky Wesleyan Panthers, big basketball school, a lot of Division II basketball titles. And football fans may know Keelan Cole, former Jacksonville Jaguar, New York Jet. Keelan Cole, I believe he signed with the Raiders, played his college football, got to cover his games here at Kentucky Wesleyan.
Oh, that is amazing. Pretty cool. As a matter of fact, is it an NAIA school, Stephen?
It's a Division II.
Division II
school.
Wesleyan. Because I know there's a couple of Wesleyans out there. But, that's really awesome. We actually, on our show that I do with my buddy Taryn, also on IU Sports Radio, 3 and Out College Edition, this is just the regular 3 and Out, we pride ourselves on not just talking Power 5 like everyone else and their mother likes to do. We dabble into the Division III world, Division II, NAIA, FCS. We also talk NJCAA, the 3C 2A that I also played in college over here in California, the junior colleges, as well as, like I said, Division III that I also played in as well. We like to, throw it over there to that side. There's a lot of great stories there, so it's awesome to talk to somebody who shares that same passion for those lower divisions.
Absolutely, man. You cover in high school sports, you see kids be able to get a free education no matter what level it is. So, they're out there working just as hard as the D1 guys, and a lot of these guys, make it in the NFL. So it's kind of the way of the world these days, but it is a lot of fun to cover.
Exactly. Ollie Marpet out of Hobart University just retired. Okay, he blocked for Tom Brady coming out of Division III. I'm just saying, he won a Super Bowl ring. So Cecil Shorts out of Mount Union, of course. I mean, just these guys that come out of lower schools or smaller schools, I love it. So with that said, Stephen, welcome, man. Glad to have you here. And like I said, hopefully have you back here many more times. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into your Minnesota Vikings, man. So last year, another tough year. You guys would finish second, but that was 5 games back from, of course, the cream of the crop in this division for many years. I think it really just comes down to the guy behind center. I really think that's really what it comes down to. But you guys, 8-9, the highest of the losing records, if you will, in the NFC North. But hey, you guys were right there near 500. Had we had not added this stupid extra week, you guys would have been 500. But regardless, this is a team that has been up and down and all around. Overall, I mean, I know we've got a lot of time because your show actually starts at the top of the hour right now. But taking a look, looking at you guys' season, man. I mean, last year starting things off, you guys dropped 2. You win 1 versus Seattle at home. You drop 1 to Cleveland. Then you go on a 2-game win streak. Go into the bye week. You drop 2. You win 1 in overtime this year. You lost 1 in overtime. You went on a 2-game win streak and you drop 2 straight. You win 2 straight. You drop 2 straight, and you win 1 over the Bears to end the season. Talk about a roller coaster ride. Steven, tell us all about last season as a Vikings fan.
Man, it was miserable. It was one of those situations. The Vikings are, when they're bad, they're not bad enough to reap the benefits of a good draft pick. It seems like they always seem to find a way to eke out 3 or 4 wins that they probably shouldn't have won, or lose 4 or 5 games they probably should have won. And it felt like that was kind of back and forth last year. I think it all boiled down to, when you watch a team, something just didn't click. And I think it all boiled down to just Mike Zimmer I felt like even going into the season last year, not a lot of optimism. And it really boiled down. And I'm a Mike Zimmer guy. I love Mike Zimmer. I thought he was going to be the one to get it done, for this organization, and he didn't get it done. And not only that, but he burned a lot of bridges, and just the locker room seemed toxic. And as good as a defensive coach that he was just not a uniter of people. And at the end of the day, I think he lost the team, and I think some of their efforts maybe waned at times because of that. Maybe they didn't play as hard for him as they did, 3 or 4 years ago when he first got there. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much what showed on the field, And the longtime GM Rick Spielman also got the axe. So this is the first time in a long time going into a season as a Vikings fan that we haven't been led by a Rick Spielman roster. I mean, a lot of these guys are still Rick Spielman guys, but it feels like he was our GM since Brad Childress, back those days. So it's going to be a little bit different flavor this year. But last year, I just want to forget that was a miserable season as a fan to watch. I did not enjoy. Even normally at 8-8 seasons, I'll still get behind the team. I'll still have some fun victories. Last season was pretty much miserable from the opening week all the way to the final horn. It was a rough year.
Well, I'm a Raider fan, so I get you.
Well, you guys made the playoffs at least. I mean,
still stuck.
I thought there was some highlights there last year.
We still suck. I'm sorry. Look, I went through 2 decades of trash. Okay, I can talk all the crap I want to on that stupid team. I love them, but they put me through some crap.
I completely understand. I'm the ultimate pessimist when it comes to Vikings football, no doubt.
Hey, you're a true fan in my opinion, brother. True fan.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all.
I've had my heart ripped out one too many times, man. One too many times.
I get you, brother. I get you. Hey, we just want our teams to do good at the end of the day, so I get you, man. So with that said, let's take a look at the free agency, man. Courtesy of overthecap.com. You guys had some pretty big pickups, some big departures as well. You guys, let's take a look. Heading over, Xavier Woods, safety, heading over to the Panthers. That was a pretty big kick. Nick Vigil, linebacker, heading over to the Cardinals. Dozier, look at this. Dakota Dozier, left guard. He's going to enemy territory, going over to play for them Bears. Chad Beebe.
Thank God. That's an addition, my friend. That is an addition. Losing Dozier and going to the Bears. If he's a starter for the Bears, that is a win-win for the Vikings. We lose him off our roster, and he goes to the Bears. That's just a turnstile right there.
Look at that. Hey, there you go, man. Let the diehards speak. Tyler Conklin going over to the Jets. Mason Cole going to the Steelers. And then some pickups here. We do have Jesse Davis heading over from the Dolphins. We have Zadarius Smith, edge rusher, coming on over from the Packers. Hey, he was a foe. Now he's a friend. Chris Reed now coming over from the Colts to take over that and possibly take over that guard position, depending on what side he was on. But Jonathan Bullard coming over from the Vikings. From the Falcons. I mean, some big moves here. But I'm not going to go over all of them. You go ahead and do that, my good friend. How about that free agency? What did you think this year about the Vikings free agency?
Well, I don't know that we necessarily lost any. Woods was a starter that I thought played well for us, but I like what we did in the draft. So I'm not real concerned with that loss. It was kind of, other than that, I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of traction. Tyler Conklin at the tight end spot is a guy that I think we'll miss a little bit. They didn't really replace him. So it's going to be interesting to see the tight end spot for us. But as far as pickups go, I love the pickup of Zadarius Smith. I mean, if he could stay healthy, of course, that's going to be the key. But a healthy Zadarius Smith combined with the Danielle Hunter, I love that pickup for us. So that pretty much headlines. It was kind of a quiet free agency. Our cap situation hasn't been great as far as, being able to add some big-time additions. But low-key love the addition of Chris Reed. Locally here, a lot of the Indianapolis Colts fans loved what he brought along the offensive line. We didn't have to pay him anything. And guards are a premium for the Vikings because it has been an absolute disaster at the guard spot and along the interior line. He's a guy that can kick inside the center. So I low-key like that signing the most out of any signing that we made this offseason.
That's something. It's true, man. The offensive line for you guys seems, my gosh, I can't think of and please correct me, I'm sorry, but I can't think of even a super duper crazy dominant offensive lineman. My gosh, I can't even, Phil Lodeholt, 10 years ago? That was, you know what I mean?
A long time.
Yeah, I can't think of an absolute monster Tyron Smith type of guy. You know what I mean? On that offensive line, it's crazy. But with that said, let's take a look at this draft real fast. We're already, we're just flowing with the offseason here. So you guys have the number 32 overall pick. Lewis Cine, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Cine, but safety out of Georgia. They had a record, 8 picks go in the first round this year, those championship Georgia Bulldogs, and you guys will fill a big need, I feel, in your secondary. It's definitely a player who can come straight into camp and be a starter, in my opinion. Andrew Booth, corner out of Clemson. As we can see, the secondary need is immense. Ed Ingram, I thought, was pretty solid out of LSU. You got a big guard. I think he was a very good pickup in the second round. Brian Asamoah, linebacker out of Oklahoma, a solid linebacker there. So we have a lot of big pickups here. Of course, getting in the later rounds, some more pickups here. But with that said, what do you think about this draft this year, Steven, for your Vikings? Oh, whoopsies. Let's see. What happened there? That was odd. Let me hold on just a quick minute there, Steven. Okay, one more time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That was where I kind of lost you for a minute there. Okay, one more time.
Oh, that's all right.
What you think about that draft? Sorry about that.
I think it's all going to come down to how the trades work out. I hated the first-round trade. We traded twice back-to-back within the division. First with the Lions, didn't get it. When you move from 12 to 32 and you don't get a first-round pick back in return, I feel like that's a loss. I think Cine will be a tremendous player. I do like the player they got at 32. Didn't love the value of the move down the board, especially when you had the Notre Dame kid at safety sitting right there at 12 to take. I would have probably preferred Hamilton over Cine. But in this defense, I don't hate it too much because I think they're going to play a lot of big nickel, and I think he'll be a big part. I love the pickup of Andrew Booth in the second-round corner out of Clemson. Ingram had some off-the-field sketchy stuff. If he's clean, I think it's a solid pickup. In Asamoah, I think he could be a guy that in that big nickel with the switch to the 3-4 under Donatel that could be an absolute weapon. He's a tackling machine. He's an undersized linebacker, but I think he's the kind of guy that can, like I say, play that big nickel role. And overall, I like the draft, but it's all going to come down to the trades. We traded back with the Packers, and they were able to move up to get Watson, the wide receiver. So if he turns out to be a stud, and then the Williams kid that the Lions drafted turns out to be a stud, which they got at 12 in our spot, Vikings fans, it's going to haunt them because that's two guys that we're going to see 2 times a year over the next 10 years if it works out that way.
Absolutely. We have some chatter here in the chat room, by the way. Thank you everybody tuning in today and checking out this awesome interview here with Mr. Stephen A. Turner. The Carolina Cast, we have John Felipe. He is the host of our Carolina show here on IE Sports Radio. He says, you've got the Minnesota, he says, you've got the the Minneapolis Miracle to look back on. So he's trying to give you some kind of, he's trying to give you some positivity there. Aaron X, the host of our Indiana sports show here, Crossroads Pod on IE Sports Radio, says Colts will miss Chris Reed. He is solid, of course. He is a Indiana guy, so he's certainly putting that out there. And then Cale Henderson, he is the host of Sin City Sports here on IE Sports Radio as well. He was commenting on the trade and says that trade was awful.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that's, I love what Kwesi, I love the way Kwesi Adofo-Mensah came in and kind of taking charge, but as your first overall pick in a draft for your career, that was a little bit of a head scratcher. So we'll see how it plays out. If Scene's a stud, I don't know that anybody will really care, but at the end of the day, you got to get more value than that when you're moving from 12 to 32. No matter how it plays out, you look back on what teams have gotten in return there, it's always been a future first-round pick, and I felt like we struck out there.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. But looking at this roster, though, courtesy of OurLads.com, my goodness, Adam Thielen is still there. Justin Jefferson is still there. You guys have a pair of stud receivers. You guys have, of course, the offensive line. Bradbury, I think, solid player there, the general of the line, if you will, at center. You guys will look like Kirk Cousins will be the guy. I don't see anybody else back there that will be the guy. So Dalvin Cook, of course, I think one of the biggest highlights of that offense. Overall, defensive line, Harrison Phillips, Tomlinson, Watts, Darius Smith. Now, you guys, Eric Kendricks, a UCLA linebacker that I've always thought very highly of, and he's still there balling out. Harrison still playing back there as strong safety. Now you guys add Sign. Overall, I feel like they're could be a pretty solid group. But looking at this depth chart right now, some work has to be done, I feel. But regardless, the Vikings are, I feel, competitive enough. But then again, earlier it's kind of funny how you just mentioned, that's the problem. We're never competitive. When we're competitive, we're good. But when we're not competitive, we're still not good enough to get
top 3 pick.
Exactly.
It's never super bad, right? It's just always average.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you look at the roster on the surface as starters, if let's just say hypothetically all these starters stay healthy all season long, which is not going to happen. But hypothetically, if it did, the ceiling of this team is probably 11, 12 win football team, especially best case scenario is what I'm trying to say. But there's so many unknown factors with coaching staff change, scheme change on defense that you really don't know. But what you do know is that Justin Jefferson has the potential to be the best receiver in the NFL, if not best, certainly top 3. Adam Thielen went on the field and healthy. He's an absolute stud, definitely a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. And then Dalvin Cook, when healthy, he's a top 2 or 3 back in the NFL year after year. And I love the depth there. They drafted Todd Chandler out of North Carolina. I think that's the guy to watch in this offense. And Guanu, the running back last year from Iowa State, is another speed demon guy that I think will factor in to an offense, kind of a Rams-style offense, I think you could say, with this team. And at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins, if he's protected, he's one of those quarterbacks where if everything goes right on a play, he can be elite-level quarterback. He's just, when things go south on a play, he can't improvise, and that's when things really go bad for Kirk Cousins. And unfortunately for him, our offensive line has not been NFL level since he's been there, and I think he's really suffered from that. But he does have weapons, and so at the end of the day, what comes down for me for this offense is that offensive line. I love Darisaw and I love O'Neal, the bookend tackles. It's all going to come down to the interior line for me. I'm not a Bradbury guy. I think he's a major bust. I would love to see a J.C. Treader pick up late in the season here to plug him into the center spot. He's still out there. I know he's got bad knees, but I'll take 2 bad knees of J.C. Treader more than I'll take a healthy Garrett Bradbury. So they got to shore up that interior. That right guard spot. You mentioned Dakota Dozier, who went over to the Bears, was an absolute disaster on the offensive line. And whether it be Jesse Davis, whether it be Chris Reed from Indianapolis, whether it be Ed Ingram, the rookie, somebody's got to take that job and just be okay. If they can just give Kirk Cousins a top 15 offensive line, I think this offense will thrive, and I think it'll be a top 5 offense in the NFL on that side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, you just don't know. I mean, they're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and I personally, anytime you make that transition, I don't see the personnel to be able to run that right away. I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 year deal. There's a lot of talent over there. Of course, coming off the edge, you're going to have Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter, who, if they're healthy, one of the best tag team pass rushing combos in the NFC. So the question is, can they stay healthy? You mentioned Eric Kendricks. He's a stud. They picked up Jordan Hicks from Arizona, who's a tackle machine. I love those pickups. There's some rumors about Sue. I know the Raiders were interested in him as well, so that'll be something to watch for over the next couple of weeks as we go into training camp. But if they don't stay healthy, there's no depth on this defense. The safety spot, they pick up Steen. I love what Cam Bynum did last year in relief. I think they'll play 3 safeties a lot. I think you'll see Harrison Smith, you'll see Cam Bynum, and you'll see Lewis Steen in a big nickel type of package. And I think you'll see that a lot out of this defense from Ed Donatel. But if anybody goes down, any starter goes down, there's going to be a significant drop-off of the depth that comes in, and that's my biggest concern across the board with this team.
That's always rough. No depth, and that is very rough. And yeah, I remember seeing Bradbury get drafted, but yeah, I guess I haven't kept up with him too much because that sucks to hear he's been such a bust. But overall, man, looking at this season, I know we don't got a whole bunch of time left. But courtesy of FBschedules.com, looks like you guys are taking on, if I'm not mistaken, the NFC East, if I'm not mistaken, and also the AFC East is in there. It looks like that to me, at least.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So, and then the outlier teams. Who else is in there? That's not in either division. Let's see here. I see the Saints in the NFC South. And I'm not sure who else I see while walking around here out of the division. But the Colts out of the AFC East. So
yeah,
I mean,
the Colts. Yep.
What do you feel this year? So how do you look at the schedule right now and feel that your Vikings can hold up this year?
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm a pessimist. So the pessimist would say it's an 8-win team. The optimist would say it's an 11 to 12-win team. I'll meet you somewhere in the middle and say it's probably a 9 or 10-win team this year. If everything, it's just so hard to say with Kevin O'Connell coming over. If Jim Harbaugh was the hire, I would say this is an 11-win football team. This may be a 12-win football team, just because Jim Harbaugh is a proven commodity. We know that dude has won often in the NFL. I just don't know with Kevin O'Connell. I think he has a great background, but I don't know what he has to offer. So, we're going to find out real quick. I don't love first-year coach, first time, or really, he called plays in Washington for a short period, but I don't love that. I think that's a lot to put on a young coach's plate, and I think it's a recipe for disaster. We'll see if he can manage it really quick, actually, because they have Green Bay right off the rip, and you're going to have to score points to beat Green Bay. And if you want to win the division, you've got to win at home against Green Bay week 1. That's going to set the tone, I think, for the early part of the schedule with Philadelphia. A much improved Detroit Lions team. I look out for the Detroit Lions. I love what Dan Campbell and the roster they put together there. That's going to be tough. They go to London for the Saints and then back home for the Bears. Before they get to the bye, they've got the Dolphins. I mean, it could be a rough start. The pre-bye week schedule is going to define this team's season. If they can, come out there with 1 or 2 losses, I think that they'll probably be a playoff team. If they're below 500 at that point, they're going to struggle this year. And, we'll see. I just don't have a lot of confidence in the depth of the roster. And I think at the end of the day, you get down to the back end of this schedule, I think it lightens up in the middle a little bit, but you just never know. I mean, you look down, Washington, Rivera's done well there. Buffalo, that's tough. Arizona, Dallas, New England. I mean, those are all games the 50-50 games. All those games could go either way. There's really not a lot of gimmies. You got the Giants late in the season, which is a little bit of an easy game there, and then you close out with the Bears, who I don't believe will be very good at all this year. So
well,
it could go either way.
I love it. Well, Steven, I think I'm glad because you kind of segued into the final segment here. You got 2 minutes on the clock. I know you got a few minutes before you get out of here. We got 2 minutes.
2 minute warning.
2 minute warning. This is a fun segment called Stick It To 'Em. At the end of the day, there's 3 other teams that you don't like in this division, and guess what? They don't like you right back. And I think that's the best part about it, right? We love the rivalry.
Absolutely.
And guess what? You get 2 minutes to talk about how you think they're going to do this season, and you can also tell us how you really feel about those teams coming from a diehard Vikings fan. And you could be nice and respectful about this. You can be mean and ugly about this. Or you can also be a mix of the two. Without further ado, Steven, stick it to him.
Well, I'm going to start at the top with the Green Bay Packers, who I cannot stand, and it makes it very difficult for me to say anything positive about them because the fans, they just constantly give it to the Vikings, and rightfully so. They've owned it. They've owned this division, and you just tip your cap to them. It is what it is. I've never been an Aaron Rodgers guy, but I respect him. At the end of the day, I fear number 12. When he walks onto the field, you know that you're going to have a long day ahead of you to try to stop him. I think we fared pretty well against him, over the past few years with Mike Zimmer. I'm curious to see how he's going to do. He doesn't have any weapons. I mean, he's tremendous. He's elite. He's the best quarterback, I feel like, in the game, but he does not have any weapons. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go for him. I still think they're the team to beat in the division because he's the elite quarterback that you have to run through. But I do think they take a step back this year offensively, and I think overall they'll take a step back. As far as, to me, the surprise team in this division, I think you'll look back at the end of the year, is the Detroit Lions. Now, I can't disrespect the Lions. If you're a Lions fan, how can you disrespect a Lions fan? I mean, that's the most hardcore of the hardcore. I mean, they've been through the worst, right? Winless seasons. I mean, just losing. And then they finally get a Super Bowl level quarterback and they trade him away for a bag of potato chips. I mean, it's insane to be a Detroit Lions fan. I mean, you got Jared Goff in nothing. I mean, I feel like, they did get a little bit, but the guy won a Super Bowl and you let him walk out the door. You didn't build around him. What a disaster to be a Lions fan. But I will say I like Dan Campbell. I like their draft. I like the roster that they're building. I still feel like they're a quarterback away with Goff. If they can get anything out of Jared Goff, I think this team could push for the playoffs. I really do. I think the Lions could be one of the surprise teams of the NFL coming up this year. I'm that high on Mr. Bite Your Kneecaps Off, Dan Campbell. But last but not least, the Chicago Bears. And not a big Bears guy, obviously, but Justin Fields, I just don't see it. I mean, we're going to find out. I don't think Nagy did Fields a lot of favors, but I just don't see it with him. Didn't love the hire. Didn't love the GM, what the GM did in the draft. They didn't address the offensive line. They didn't get Justin Fields any weapons. The defense got older. They traded away Mack. I mean, I didn't see a lot of progress from this team in the offseason. And I'll say this. The good news for the Bears fans, I think they have an opportunity to pick number 1 overall in the NFL draft coming up next year.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, great job, Stephen A. Turner. Hey, brother, glad to have you on today's show, man. Let's go ahead and make that exit with a plug. Everything you've got going. Your podcast starts in literally like 3 minutes. My apologies for holding you up. But, hey, man, let all these diehard Vikings fans know where they can find you, your show, all the good stuff, man. Where can they find you?
Absolutely. You can follow me specifically at Stephen A. Turner on the Twitter machine. Be sure and follow. You can follow 1027 The Game, a lot of local stuff here in Kentucky. If you're a Midwestern sports fan, we do a lot of college on there as well. That's 1027 The Game. And you can also follow along the show every Monday through Friday. We're live at 5 o'clock Central Time. Go to the Owensboro Radio app. Download that app. You'll have all the podcasts down at the bottom. Or just go to owensbororadio.com, and you can stream it live right there every Monday through Friday, live at 5.
Awesome. Well, Steven, it has been great. You have been great. You got a show to do, but man, that was a great experience, and I'm glad you can join us, man. I hope you have a great show, and I hope you can return real soon, man, to talk some more Vikings.
Absolutely. I'd love to, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again. Take care. God bless. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Appreciate it.
Take care. All right, y'all. That was Stephen A. Turner. That was awesome. This man, he had a great segment Man, I really enjoyed that. I think that was great, and yeah, agreed. Terrence says here in the chat room, being a Lions fan is kind of on par with being a Chargers fan. Steven was Steven was respectful despite sticking it to the NFC North opponents. Yeah, he had a kind of a mixture in there of disrespectful and respectful, and hey, I like that. I'll take that. That is nice to me. I think that is great when you can have that little mix there. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of fun. We're going to get back to the recorded interviews now. We got Zach coming up talking Lions. After that, Marcella coming up talking her Green Bay Packers. Oh, we're halfway through, and this has been a great show so far. We have now made it through 14 teams. We got 2 more to go to end off NFC Week here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, talking NFC North. When we get back, we'll be talking Lions, #OnePride, with our very own Zachary Puplis of Lions, Tigers, Pistons, and Wings. Oh my! Here on IE Sports Radio. Once again, y'all, we get back talking Lions. Don't go nowhere, y'all. I'm just saying, don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm playing with you. Take care, you guys. We'll be seeing you in just a few minutes here with Zachary Puplis. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com. Part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
Are you a fan of the best teams in the Buckeye State? Then this is a show for you. This is the State of Ohio Sports, where I, your host, Andrew Higginbotham, will bring you all the professional news as well as all things college from Northeast Ohio and Cleveland, all the way down to Southwest Ohio and Cincinnati, and even in the heart of the state in the state capital of Columbus. So if this sounds like the show for you, check out the State of Ohio Sports show every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Here we are, day number 4, NFC North Day here on NFC Week, the conclusion of NFC Week here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. And we just finished talking Vikings. We talked Bears a little bit ago. And, well, speaking of the Bears, this guy right here just so happens to be the co-host with Adam Karnick for the Neutral Zone, our hockey show here at IE Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, he is diehard Detroit fan. He is the host of our Michigan sports show here on IE Sports Radio. Lions, Tigers, Pistons, and Wings. Oh my! And all-around great guy. Glad to have him here tonight. Taking some time out of his busy schedule. Glad to have him here tonight to talk about his Detroit Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one, the only, Mr. Zachary Puplis. What's going on, Zach? How you doing today, man?
I'm great, Larry. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing the best I can, man. Glad to have you here tonight to talk about those Lions.
Yes, sir. I'm loving that enthusiasm.
I know. Poor Lions. I know.
Hey, I'll take any kind of enthusiasm I can get from my Lions.
Yeah, I get you. What did you tell me last year, that there was always that saying, as long as the Spartans are doing good, the Lions can't hurt me?
Yeah, exactly. So, because the Spartans were undefeated, they were 7-0, and yeah, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, as long as they're doing well, I don't really care that the Lions suck.
Oh, those poor things. I mean, oh my goodness. But it's all good, man. You know what?
I mean, living here, it's kind of like, okay, well, which you pick your poison. It's like, which team is more near and dear to your heart? And for me, that's Michigan State. So it's like, okay, as long as they're doing well, I could care less about the Lions.
Those poor Lions. I know. It's hard. They put you guys through so much crap. It's so similar to the Raiders with us over here. So I get you, man. It's not easy. So let's talk about this team. I know last year was another crap show. But last year, the NFC North went a little something like this. The Packers finished 13-4. The Vikings were at 8-9. The Bears were at 6-11, and the Lions, well, they just happened to have a tie because, well, why not? Right? Why not? 3-13-1. Zach, you guys went 2-4 in the NFC North, and you start off with just I'm sorry. Sparty went 7-0. I just had to make sure I counted 8. And the Lions did almost the exact opposite thing, just kind of one-upped Sparty in the opposite direction, going 0-8. You guys would fall. All I can think about in this one, Zach, is somebody got really pissed off in that locker room versus Philadelphia after that 44-6 loss and was like, we better win after the bye week. We're now 0-8. We look like the sorriest team ever. We just got blown out 44-6. I mean, I don't know, the conversation in that locker room after that Philadelphia game on Halloween, I don't know, man, but you guys came out of the bye week. You had a 16-16 tie. It wasn't necessarily a win, but it's better than a loss. A tie with the Steelers. You dropped 2 more games to the Cleveland Browns and the Chicago Bears, and lo and behold, the season started back in September. But hey, I guess any time's as good as any when your team's not doing so great for their first victory of the year on December 5th, especially over a division rival, 29-27 over Minnesota. You would drop one to the Denver Broncos after that. Defeat a very good Arizona Cardinals team. I don't know how that even happened, but I'm glad you did it because it at least gave you guys some kind of happiness. You dropped the next 2 games. Yeah, you dropped the next 2 games. And finally, you end on a great note. I don't care who was or wasn't playing. You guys beat Green Bay 37-30, and well, that's the season. I'm sorry for having to relive that with you for a few seconds. Sorry about that, Zach. But one more time, brother, before we close the book on this entire season last year, what were the emotions as a Lions fan last year?
You're giving me a little PTSD right here, man.
I'm sorry, I know.
I think. Let's see. Was last year the first season with the 17 game schedule?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, I think that's how our thoughts were after that losing streak to start the year. It was, well, we've gone 0-16, imperfectly perfect. In back in 08, well, let's see if we can top it. Can we go 0-17?
Oh my gosh. Breaking all the wrong records, right?
Yeah. Infamous. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's, you got to see the silver lining in things, but then other times it's like, okay, we'll have like a morbid curiosity.
Yes, I get you, and it wasn't easy, I'm sure. That was just painful, man. That was painful to recap right now, because it's like, man, did they really get beat that many times? It's just hard to, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's the NFL. It's like any professional sport, any professional league. Wins are not easy to come by, and you're going to take whatever wins you can get, and it doesn't matter who's not doing good, you're going to beat them because you need the wins, and that's all there is to it. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's close the door. Oh, go ahead.
I wish the division was more like that meme with the, the way it stands right now. Like you said, the way it finished last year. Okay, so you got Green Bay at the top, then you got the Vikings, then the Bears, then the Lions, lowly Lions. Well, if only it were like that meme, the NFC intimidation factor, where let's see, okay, Lions, roar, okay, Bears, roar, okay, Vikings, big McPherson with an axe and horns on their helmet and everything. And then you got the Packers. Here, I'm gonna pack a suitcase. I'm gonna pack some cheese,
That was great. That was.
If only.
It's kind of sad, man. The lion is supposed to be the king of the jungle, and in the NFL, it's quite the opposite. Sadly, I mean, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I want to see the Lions do good, just because they've been so bad. I just want to see the Lions be like, just a freaking turnaround team. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I would love to see that because, man, like, I mean, you guys are like low-key Murphy's Law, man. Like, I don't know what to
I know.
I don't know what to say. I just want you guys to win, though. I do. I'm cheering for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a fan base that deserves it, I think it's us after as much misery and heartbreak that we've been through.
Yeah, it's painful, man. But you know what, man? I know better days are coming, and it can definitely start now, man. So let's head on over to overthecap.com, take a look at your guys' free agency. You guys would have some pretty big departures, some key pickups as well. Like Gerard Davis actually heading over to the Lions from the Jets. I thought that was pretty big. Jalen Reeves-Maybin will be heading to the Texans. You guys will keep guys like Alex Anzalone and Charles Harris and Josh Reynolds, of course. You will pick up Chris Board from the Ravens. You will Kadero Hodge will be going to the Falcons, as well as Dean Marlowe. So I mean, you know, some moving pieces over here. What do you think overall? Who were your biggest pickups and departures of the offseason for the Lions?
I'd say the biggest pickups definitely include Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a state fan, it pains me to give them any kind of praise, but no, I think he's going to project to be a really good player and like an all-star and a pro and all that. A Pro Bowl player. That's what I'm looking for. Who else? Oh, Jameson Williams, rookie wide receiver out of Alabama and formerly Ohio State. I mean, he was on fire the whole year for Alabama until he got hurt. Who else? Penei Sewell. I mean, it's his second year in the system, so you know, he can only just get better as an offensive tackle. And Jared Goff, you know, that trade was kind of blindsiding, losing Matthew Stafford, and you know, he's been such a key part of the identity of the Lions. To see somebody else at quarterback is it's a little jarring, you know.
Yeah.
So you just hope that Jared Goff can get back to the form that he was in when he first started with the Rams.
You know, when he had a bad season, poor Zach. Sorry, but like it's funny. I was talking about free agents, and I was like, "All right, Zach, how about those free agents?" You went right to the draft. You were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get to the new guys who can actually help us." that was great, Zach. you were like,
you know, Adam talks about the Bears, and I have another show I listen to. The host there talks about the Bears too, in the sense that, you know, like you said, like Murphy's Law. Like, okay, so here's how we should run an organization, and then like the Bears and the Lions are just like, screw it. No, we don't need those. We don't need those instructions. We'll just do that.
No, we're gonna do things our way.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm totally with you, Zach. So we'll get on to the draft too, man. I mean, yeah, Jameson Williams. That is. I mean, I know it's kind of the free agency it was so, but man, Jameson Williams, this guy. I hope he's that spark for the offense. I mean, this dude's solid, man. He really has so much to offer a team, and he's going to be huge. And the crazy part is that was your second pick of the draft at 12 overall. Of course, the second overall pick for you guys, or in the first round, the second overall pick in the draft. Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, home kid, you know, he's right there. I don't know if he was actually born and raised in Michigan anywhere, but it'd be kind of cool if he was. But he's not going too far away from Michigan, you know, from Ann Arbor, because he's headed to Detroit, and he's easily, I mean, one of the best tight ends I think we've seen in the draft in years. He's a guy that can really come out and be a game changer. And, you know, I hope that happens. I hope so. You guys, looking at the Lions right now, the depth chart at the moment, this is courtesy of OurLads.com, but taking a look at you guys right now, my goodness. I mean, I remember TJ Hawkinson when he first came out. And he's proven to be pretty solid. I mean, you add another guy like him, now you have another receiver like Williams. I mean, you guys have Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC. I'm a big fan of him. Of course, I'm a USC guy. You have DJ Chark. I mean, how in the hell do you not win? You know what I mean? Like, Goff isn't that bad. You know, the offensive line. I mean, I just keep looking at this. Like, how are you not winning? You know, like I don't know. You saw earlier. You said it as well. Penei Sewell. I mean, Ragnow. I remember seeing him in there, and Vita, I believe, Ragnow and Decker. Honestly, this offense isn't that bad. It just blows my mind that you went 3-13, and I mean, of course, now all these new additions is what I'm saying though too to this offense. You got 2 tight ends that can catch the ball like freaking anywhere down the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Winston are speedsters. Chark is a dude. He's so reliable in my opinion out of LSU. And then we look at the other side. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's a tight end, defensive end. He's one of the best defensive. I'm sorry, I saw end and I started thinking, but no, Aiden Hutchinson, a monster defensive end now, and I just feel like you have, like I said, a tight end who can make plays all over the field. You got 3 receivers that I feel are going to be just key all over the place. Now you got a pretty damn good pass rusher in Aiden Hutchinson. Let's not forget Michael Brockers, also out of LSU from for a while back, but out of there. I mean, really, man, Anzalone, Okuda, gosh damn it, how did you guys not win? I'm sorry, but with that said, Zach, I'm sorry, but now you have a premier pass rusher. Like I said, you have all these different pieces. Zach, what do you think this year, man? I mean, what are you thinking right now? Like looking at this roster, like how are you actually feeling?
Well, to answer your question earlier, actually, Aiden Hutchinson grew up in Plymouth, Michigan, which is just outside of Ann Arbor.
How
so
sweet.
From Plymouth to U of M to Detroit, he really, between high school and college and the NFL, he hasn't really moved very far at all.
No, he hasn't. That's pretty sweet. That is actually really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And you hope that because you picked the hometown kid, basically, that's going to provide a spark, at least with the fans, and more fan interest, and they're going to want to come see his games, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully there's a bump there. In terms of the roster, yeah, I'm with you. Like they've got so many good, talented pieces. Jeffrey Okuda out of Ohio State, T.J. Hawkinson. He's a decent tight end. I mean, he's a good fantasy pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was out of Iowa, I want to say.
Yes.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, I mean, like I almost drafted him in fantasy last year, and I think he did pretty well. So I might try to, choose him as a fantasy sleeper this year.
Heck yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I think maybe what they're missing is just the ability to put it all together, the team chemistry, to be a cohesive unit, et cetera. I think Dan Campbell has the chops for it. I mean,
right?
Other than off the wall, sound bites of biting people's kneecaps off and
kneecap soup.
I mean, I was a big fan of Jim Caldwell. He had success with Indianapolis, and then we got him as a coach, and he got us like getting the playoffs as a Detroit Lions fan is like unheard of. So, I mean, legit, in terms of my whole life, they've been to the playoffs maybe 3 times, and Caldwell had 2 of them. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you getting rid of this guy? I remember reading the article about it, and okay, maybe he set the bar too high for himself. We're going to win championships here. Well, I mean, doesn't everybody have to kind of fake it till you make it at the beginning, right?
Yeah, seriously, get ready.
Yeah, but they got rid of him for the hot, young, new, up and coming thing. Matt Patricia, and we all know how that worked out. So it's like, guys, you should have stuck with him and give him a couple more years. And, I'm a big believer, both from Michigan State days as well as the Lions. D'Antonio crafting the team and making it in his own image. And, if the coach is disciplined, then the team's going to be disciplined.
Yes.
Instilling all of these values in their team. And I feel like the Lions were the same way under Jim Caldwell. Like they weren't, you didn't see, I think they didn't have Ndamukong Suh still at that point, but he's the epitome of a team that was undisciplined. Here, I'm going to go stomp on this Green Bay Packers player. Like, come on, man. Because they were growing in his image, in Jim Caldwell's image, that they were more disciplined. They had fewer penalties, at least fewer dumb penalties, etc.
Yes.
I think what they're missing is just being able to put it all together. They got pieces, they got players, but they just can't. They don't have the chemistry, or they, I don't know. Relating it personally, it's like, okay, you may be really good at feeding your animals and, taking out the trash and, sorting your recycle and stuff. But okay, you may not always be so good at, doing dishes, for instance.
Yeah, right.
So trying to make sure that you can be all things to all people and cover all the needs that you need to be a good team.
It is so true. Like, seriously, that's a tough one to follow, Zach. You hit it right on the head. Actually, I can't really say anything after that. You know your team damn well. Yes, that's exactly it. I second everything you said. Honestly, I mean, this team, man, it's crazy. It really is. I couldn't believe what I was looking at right now, because it's true. I mean, but don't get me wrong. I'm also looking at the roster as it is right now, and.
Sure.
Gosh dang it. I mean, you have, like I said, now you got this pass rusher. You got 3 receivers that are damn good. Now you got, a tight end that is just very solid. Like I said, Goff isn't that. I mean, protect him, my goodness. You got an offensive line that's getting better. I say just get it better than that. But, I mean, seriously, like, there's so much there. The defense does need, to get a little spruced up. But I just gotta say, honestly, you guys, for the most part, I don't know. It's just kind of. I get it. The Packers just dominate. That's just their thing. I don't know, but the Bears have so many question marks, just like the Lions. The Vikings have been going in reverse for years. I don't know. I mean, the Vikings, my goodness, they used to be one of my favorite defenses in like 16, 17, like 2016, 2017, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And now they're just like okay, it's the Vikings, and they're just not that good no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like I guess they it's like they're not doing anything to get better. They're just kind of not looking that good. But at the same time, they're still solid, But at the same exact time, I feel like, gosh dang it, the Packers run wild, but the Lions can be like right up there. I mean, a few changes. I kind of feel like, I hate to say this, it's going to sound like a jerk, but it's like the fight for second place right now. But at the same exact time, how good can that second place really get? I mean, watch one of these 3 teams. I mean, they emerge, and I mean, I hate to say this too, but I feel like everyone's just like, hurry up and retire Rodgers, because once he retires, I feel like it's going to be wide open. I hate to say it, I really do, because I mean, the Packers forget how to play football sometimes without Aaron Rodgers. Like, the defense doesn't do good. Like, how the hell does that happen? Like, I didn't know he played strong safety too. Like, I don't get it. So it's like this division just has one elite quarterback that's running the show. That's what it feels like. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've had chances before, and we've gotten close, and we just haven't been able to close the door on them. And I look back to that 2015 game with the untimed phantom, with the phantom penalty and the untimed down afterwards.
Yeah.
And then he throws a friggin' Hail Mary, Rodgers to Rodgers. I'm like, I was watching it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right? I knew that was on you guys. I remember that. Like, that was, yeah. It's like only Rogers. Like, how in the hell does that happen? Like, he's like a freaking wizard or something? Like, how the hell did that happen? Like, it's true.
You're a wizard, Aaron.
Of course it's not, but I mean, it's just crazy to think, man. Like, are you serious? Like, how the hell does it happen? Like, it's like everything good happens for them when he's on the field. Like, he's like, I don't know, man. That guy, it just goes to show you how damn good he is, you know? So it's like, I don't know. But right now, I feel like Aaron Rodgers, it really is like the X factor of the entire division, and it's like after that, man. I mean, once again, I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers play for many more years, but the year he finally does call it a career, I honestly feel like it's anybody's division after that. That's no diss to Jordan Love. That's, you know, but at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like you guys have a lot of talent. The Bears have a lot of talent. They got Justin Fields over there now. The Vikings, I mean, they've been falling apart for years, but they've been also keeping afloat. So it's like, I mean, there's talent on all of these teams, but just Aaron Rodgers outweighs everybody. So I don't know, man. That's a crazy thing to think about. But let's take a quick look at the schedule coming into this year, man, and see what we got going. All right. So first things first, you guys this year look like you're taking on. It looks like, well, of course, we have the good old NFC schedule, but it looks like here we have the AFC East, and who else do you guys have this year? Looks like the AFC
Here,
East.
I got you.
And
I wrote it down earlier.
NFC East as well.
NFC East, NFC West, we got a Seattle matchup. AFC East, New England, Miami. AFC South, we got Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
NFC South, we got Carolina. Yeah, and then others.
So, looking at the schedule, and also, and this is just being serious too, like some people can make it laughable or whatever, it's the Lions, and at the end of the day, once again, it's a professional football team, and no professional team sucks. It's just that they're not as either well coached, organized, or whatever it comes to when it comes to like winning. You know, it happens. Coaching matters. You know, preparing players, preparation matters. Like all this matters. Talent, slacking off, taking plays off. All this stuff comes into play. So when it comes down to it, a realistic look, Zach. What do you seriously think your line now? Looking at your team now, of course, being a little hopeful. And also looking at your team with the schedule right here, what do you personally think that your Lions can do this year? And like I said, I know you can. I get it. I know after last year it's hard, but looking like I said, looking at the schedule now, along with your guys' new roster, I don't know. I just feel like there's actually a lot to be optimistic for. But what do you think?
I just went through it and I separated out wins, losses, and toss-ups. And the way I see it right now, there's 4 wins, 4 losses, and 9 toss-ups. So the team could be anywhere from, 4-13 all the way to 13-4. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
My 4 wins, I just, okay, if you take that team as a whole and you try to peg them as, it's like card sharks, higher or lower. Are they higher as a whole or lower as a whole than Alliance? So these 4 I figured were lower: Jacksonville, New York Jets, Washington, and Carolina. Carolina just seems to have a revolving door at quarterback, and we got rid of Cam, and now Teddy's the answer. Oh, well, Teddy's not the answer. Okay, so now we got Sam Darnold, and Sam's not the answer, so we brought Cam back, and
Exactly. Yep, that's it. No, you hit it on the head.
I'm like, oh my God, you guys, just settle on somebody for the love of God. The 4 losses, I would say the 2 Green Bay games. I would say New England. They're not Tom Brady form, but Mac Jones has been doing just fine for being a newbie. and having those big shoes to fill. And then I'd say Buffalo. Blanked on his name. I could see his face clear as day. Josh Allen. I mean, he's just been incredible. And, everybody lamented at the end of the playoffs last year, or was it the year before, not being able to have the other half of the overtime against the Chiefs. And, had they had their own opportunity in overtime, then, who knows what might have happened. They might have gone to the Super Bowl. They're just that good. Like, I never, I don't know, everybody, when players get drafted, the same thing happened with Jared Goff. The NFL is so much about, like, oh my gosh, he needs to have the right intangibles, the right height, and the hand size and everything. And so then players that are on teams that weren't really that good, look at Jared Goff at Cal. Like, he didn't do anything while he was at Cal. It's not like they went to a national title game or a playoff or anything, or even like a BCS or New Year's Six game. Mm-hmm. But because he's got the intangibles and the right height and size and everything, he's going to be the number one pick. That always threw me off. And that's why I didn't really put much stock in Josh Allen when he came out of Wyoming. But from what he's done with the Bills is just, remarkable.
It is. It really is. I really couldn't have said that better myself. It's incredible, man, to see that. So I love it. I like your toss-ups. I really do think it's a big possibility. I mean, 13-4 seems like, whoa. I mean, what a turnaround that would be. That'd be amazing. But at the same exact time, I mean, 4-13 doesn't seem realistic to me right now because this team just looks better. Once again, it's on paper. I know. We all say it. We all know it. We've heard Madden say it a million times. Games aren't won on paper, and I understand that. I've heard that on Madden so many times, like I said. But at the end of the day, Zach, right now I feel like your team is going to be better than they were last year. How much better? I mean, hell, if it's a game more, then I guess it's better than last year. But what I'm saying is we'll find out how much better. But overall, man, it's been fun, and there's one more thing left to do here, and that, of course, is a segment we like to call Stick It To 'Em. So, Zach, I get it, because I feel like everybody stuck it to the Lions last year, but it's all good. You can talk crap all you want to. It's fine. So, this segment, you get to talk about the other three teams in the NFC North and talk about how you think they're going to do this year. And you can also tell us how you really feel about those teams. Now, you can be nice and kind. You can be mean and ugly about this. Or you can also have a mixture of both. However you want to do it. Zach, with further ado, stick it to him.
You talked about teams playing for second place in this division. And, okay, so it's Green Bay and everybody else. And even on some of the best years that Chicago has had, back in, 2018, they wound up 12-4. I mean, I still just marvel at that record. I'm like, holy crap, where did that even come from? And, you could do so well. You can have that kind of, outstanding record. And then, but you didn't clinch the division. So, you still wind up in the wild card game. And in the wild card game, you never know what can happen. And, if you have a shitty kicker, double doink and you're done.
That was great. That was freaking great. Hey, Zach, great stuff as always, man. I'm loving it. Once again, he is the host of Lions, Tigers, Pistons, and Wings. Oh my! On IE Sports Radio, our Michigan show. He does a great job every week. We're trying to find him a co-host. I know it gets kind of hard when you're talking about yourself. I know. I totally understand that. So at the end of the day, man, I gotta stop using that phrase for right now. You did a great job today, and we seriously thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time out today, man. One final thing, let all these diehard Lions fans know where to find you, man.
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at @ThePupless, and you can follow the show at IESR_DET, like Detroit.
Great stuff as always, and we just really appreciate you, man. Thanks again for taking out the time to be here tonight, man. Thank you so very much. It was a lot of fun having you on, talking about those Lions, and hey, all the best to you guys this season, and we definitely look forward to hearing your show coming up, man. So, hey, thanks again, brother. Take care, man. God bless you and your family, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you. Sounds good. I have one last thing. We saw in the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford, our former quarterback, win. And you had all the Detroit Rams shirts around Detroit. Like, really, people? I mean, I'm happy for Matt Stafford. Great. But I don't know if I'd go that far to make my own team up, But then, did you see him in the AT&T commercial?
He was in the AT&T commercial?
They did an AT&T commercial with Matt Stafford in it. And he's like, so you mean I can come here and trade in my phone that I've had for 12 years, and I've loved every minute of it, and get a brand new phone and experience immediate success. But I still love my team, my phone that I had before. And then he looks in the camera and just winks.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold.
Well, no. Personally, I loved it. I love the tongue-in-cheek portion of it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty damn funny. I love that. That's a great way to end off the segment, man. But, hey, thanks again, brother. We appreciate you, man. That was an awesome way to end it. Man, I look forward to all kinds of great stuff you got coming up here on IE Sports Radio, man. Hey, but take care. Have a great evening, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Larry. You too.
Anytime,
bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Puplis. Great guy, and certainly happy to have him on air. All right, you guys, we have officially gotten through 15 of 16 teams in the NFL, well, in the NFC, and we have one more to go. She is a die-hard Packers fan by way of La Ciudad de Mexico. Marcela Vargas coming up after the break. Oh, it's going to be great. She's definitely in store to tell you guys all kinds of things about those Packers. And we'll finish off the NFC North and finish off NFC week and get ready for AFC week. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 4, NFC week, the conclusion of NFC week, and of course, NFC North Day. I guess people just want to call it that. So, you're listening to all of that right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' to NorCal Sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' in NorCal Sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, Don't miss me, Gina G, on Reppin' in NorCal Sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, as I mentioned in the introduction of the show, she is back, ladies and gentlemen, by way of Mexico. She is diehard Packers fan. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a diehard IE Sports Radio fan. Why is that? Because, and I always tell the story, to be on this show, we're talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, around there, she actually took time out of her birthday. In the middle of her birthday, she was out at the club with her friends, having a great time. But what happens? She jumps on the phone and goes outside in the rain to make sure she was a part of that show that night on 3 and Out to talk about her Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, she is an incredible journalist. She's so incredible with her writings that she's now verified. She writes tons. She is a former member of Our Turf, and she is just awesome with her writing. She has tons and tons of great writing and so many great things she's doing around journalism, either sports or non-sports. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to bring about, for her zillionth time and first time in a couple of years, once again, all the way from Mexico. Glad to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Marcela Vargas. How's it going, Marcela? How have you been?
I'm super happy to be here, to be speaking with you again, live on radio. It's fantastic. I'm just so happy to be here again, talking to you and talking about the Packers. And I mean, remembering that night, that was a heck of a birthday. It was fantastic, and I just love all the amazing times we've had talking about football.
Oh, it's been great. I'm telling you, you've had some great primetime face-offs. I mean, you have been a trooper when it comes to the Packers and IE Sports Radio, so we appreciate you, and just thanks again. Once again, you have a meeting coming up in just a little bit, and you're making time. So you see what I mean when I say that we really appreciate you and your time, because you do it all, and we thank you for that.
Oh, I'm super happy to be here and talking about this. I mean, fortunately, right now, my schedule was flexible enough to make time, and we were people, guys, everyone who's listening, we were trying to find a way, the best time for us to talk about football, talk about the Packers, and I mean, we made time, we made it happen, and so I'm just so happy to talk about this.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and let's jump on into it. So, first things first, the Green Bay Packers last year absolutely destroyed the NFC North as per usual, finishing 13-4. You guys just went above and beyond, winning by 5 games last year. Taking another. That's like your millionth title, I think, for the NFC North title. You guys went off a tough loss in the very first week, losing to New Orleans 38-3. I was shocked. Everyone was shocked. I'm pretty sure you were shocked. Then you went on a 7-game win streak. You dropped one to Kansas City. That was a tough one. Then you won one versus Seattle at home. You dropped one versus Minnesota. That was a tough one. You defeated the championship Rams, and then you just kept on going from there. Pretty much almost to the end. You won out. It was a 5-game win streak. Fell to Detroit at the end of the season, and then all the way to the divisional round in the playoffs, and you would fall to that tough San Francisco 49er team, 13-10. How about that season last year, Marcela? Go ahead and give us every raw emotion from you last season.
Well, it was a wild ride. I mean, starting from the off season last year, being a fan of the Packers for over 12 years now, I don't think we had ever had, in that period, such a wild ride in terms of emotions. Everything, the drama with Rodgers, the off-season drama, and then the drama during the season, everything that has happened with COVID, with the vaccination status. Then that first game, I mean, I have a lot of respect for the Saints, but that first match was I couldn't even cry. I was just astounded, like everyone was. I mean, we expected a tough game, but just having those 3 points there, we could have gone blank. At least we didn't go out blank. It was, especially after those preseason games, and we were preseason, we get it. We lost the 3 games. But then, week 1 will show what this team is really made of. The preseason has its own thing. I mean, and then to go, to actually step out on the field and lose 38-3 on your first week, that was it was appalling in every single way. And then, precisely last season, I had my first game at Lambeau. It was amazing. I did risk a lot by traveling over there with the pandemic going on and everything, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because I had to go to Chicago precisely on those dates because of work. And I was already there. It's a 4-hour drive. So I went to Lambeau for week 2, which was the Lions, and I got to see them play, and I got to see them win, and it was fantastic. And then, they kept on winning for a while.
They did.
Up until the Kansas City Chiefs game that we lost 13-7. I mean, it was a wild ride. The whole season was a wild ride. And then to just lose on the playoffs especially with the 49ers. Because we have, Rodgers has a problem with the 49ers. We've seen it happen over and over and over. And right now, the whole fandom is having trouble, seeing him as a leader. We're all having a lot of trouble with that. I mean, I respect him. He's still my favorite quarterback. But having him go through such a tough year as last year was, and watching him fall to a team that has given him such a difficult time over the years, it was tough. And then, it was really tough. But it was a wild ride. I mean, I did enjoy the season, but still, it was really hard for us to watch.
I get you. That was a rough one. I guess to see you guys lose the tough games that you did. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just tuning in, we are live with, once again, Miss Marcela Vargas from Ciudad de Mexico. Right? Am I correct? Mexico City? Are you over there? Is that where you were at? Last time you were there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still living in Mexico City. And I expect to remain here. I mean, I like my city. And it's a very nice place to live at for the moment, like for the time being. Climate is weird, but climate is getting weird all over, so what can I say?
That's the truth. But once again, y'all, awesome stuff. Glad to have her here once again. Marcela Vargas from La Ciudad de Mexico. She's tuning in, jumping on in here, talking Packers. So we're going to go ahead and continue on here too. Free agency and put last season in the rear view and move forward. You guys had some interesting pickups, some tough drops too, though. As we know, Zadarius Smith head over to the Vikings. Billy Turner, a tackle, going to the Broncos. Lucas Patrick, he's heading to the Bears, to enemy territory, if you will. Lots of different changes. Equanimus St. Brown is actually going to the Bears. All these different moves. Marcus Valdez-Scantling going to the Chiefs. That was a big one. And then, of course, probably the elephant in the room, Davante Adams going to my team, the Raiders.
I know.
I know. To play with his former college quarterback, Derek Carr from Fresno State. But you also made some good pickups, too. Of course, the Aaron Rodgers drama would end. You guys would keep him. Sammy Watkins is now coming in from the Ravens over to the Packers. You guys... let's see, who else did you guys acquire? Keyshawn Nixon from the Raiders at corner, helping out the secondary there. So a couple of big moves here, but and of course, Jerron Reed from the Chiefs. Marcela, tell us all about what you thought about free agency, and of course, everybody wants to hear about Davante Adams. What are your thoughts?
Well, Davante Adams just broke our collective hearts, especially because it's the second time that we've lost our number one wide receiver to the Raiders. Like, we already once lost our Jordy Nelson to the Raiders.
Yes.
And he didn't even last long over there. And now we're losing Davante. And that's particularly hurtful because when the full Aaron Rodgers drama was ongoing, Rodgers had said, like, I'm staying with Davante. Like, if Davante stays, I'm staying. And then Rodgers, like, signs the extension of his contract, and right after he signed, Davante left. So it was like it shook us to the core. I mean, I totally get why Davante would leave if he gets the opportunity to play with his university QB. I mean, anyone would take that chance. And we've seen, and it's lovely, like seeing those pictures of like teenager Davante and like child Davante with his Raiders jersey. It's like, of course he's going to go to the team that he's always wanted to play at.
Yeah.
And that's lovely. Like, I can't wait to see him, like, give his best. Because he's probably, like, statistically, he's the best wide receiver in the league right now.
Yes.
So, to have him, like, spend probably the rest of his career, because, I mean, he's at his prime right now, and he's got maybe, like, 5, 6 more years left. So, to have him spend the second half of his career at this team. And, you know, I have mad respect for the Raiders. So to have him be at that team, at a team that I respect, and not have him be at a team that I don't respect as much as other players that have left my team, I can't wait to see him play with the QB that he's always wanted to play with. I mean, that's going to be awesome. It hurts. But it's going to be fantastic to watch.
Well, we appreciate that, Raider fans. We definitely do, because it's nice to hear that somebody respects us. But we definitely appreciate you. And yeah, we trust me, it's going to be nice having him there, my goodness. So hopefully it's a better stint than Jordy Nelson's with the Raiders, but we shall see.
Yeah.
So moving forward, Marcela, we have here the draft. Now, you guys would pick up some solid athletes, but that first pick was like one of my favorites of the entire draft. We know the Packers love their defense. We know how nasty that defense has been throughout the years. Quay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. They had a record 8 players go in the first round, and he was one of them. And guess what? You guys will not only take him, but his teammate at defensive tackle, Devontae Wyatt. He is an absolute monster. I mean, you're going to plug him into that defensive line, and he is going to make things happen for you guys. Then North Dakota State. You guys go a different direction in the second round, picking up Christian Watson. This young man is a solid wide receiver. He's from an FCS school, a lower division in the NCAA, Division I AA. And he is solid as can be. I love how they found a hidden gem right there in the second round. Solid pickup. Sean Ryan, offensive lineman out of UCLA, getting some more beef on that offensive line. And you guys really had some solid picks. Now, with that said, lots more good picks after that. But, those are just your first couple of picks there. Marcella, what did you think about the draft this year for the Packers?
It was a very surprising draft because, especially, for the past few years, we haven't really trusted Brian Gutekunst's gut. Because he has made, some really weird choices. But this year felt different. I mean, one solid choice that he's made overall in the past few years was just appointing Matt LaFleur as head coach. But the past 3 years with LaFleur as head coach, we have seen a different team, a different Packers. He has created a very solid team, and in a way that's very different from what we saw in the last years of Mike McCarthy. And I think we still, what we are seeing this year in terms of draft picks, we're finally getting, or at least that's what it seems to me, we're finally getting a top 10 defense. We're getting back Jair Alexander, finally healthy. He's going to reclaim his place, I hope, as one of the league's best cornerbacks, because he's amazing. And he's getting, he'll be opposite Eric Stokes, who is a really, really top player. And as you've mentioned, drafting Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt, to me, Brian Gutekunst is finally giving us a defense that will amount to we already have, Kenny Clark, we already have Rashan Gary. Mm-hmm. We re-signed Devondre Campbell, who was critical to the linebackers' success last year. We have key pieces on that defense, and this draft, it finally seems like we're getting the defense that will help us move past those playoff games. Because we can have an amazing quarterback, but if we don't have a defense that will keep points away,
yes,
that will keep rival offenses from scoring, there's no point in having a solid offense. And right now, even after losing Davante, even after losing Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I loved to have Marquez on our team. I would have, that I would have this mantra of Marquez Valdez-Scantling gives, but he takes it away too. Even if we have, for every good thing that he did, he messed up twice a game, I did love having him in our team. And even though we've lost a lot of really good players in our offense, having a lot of wide receivers right now, along with a lot of rookies that I have no idea what LaFleur is how he's gonna choose. Because right now, he's got to make a lot of really weird choices on the offense. But in terms of defense, thanks to those picks, that defense is already solid, at least on paper. So I'm really curious of how the first games are going to play through. Because the defense sounds solid, at least on paper, as opposed to our offense. Because there sounds like we've got some raw talent right there, but there's just so much to pick from after having lost key players that it's going to be really fun to watch if I don't put my heart into it. So it's going to be really weird. Because we still have really solid running backs.
Yes,
but
you
in
do.
terms of wide receivers, they are all over the place.
You know, I agree wholeheartedly. Look at this. I mean, looking courtesy of ESPN.com, Aaron Jones, you have him. A.J. Dillon, solid. But it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Lazard, he's there, but is he a true one wide receiver? Sammy Watkins, he has question marks on him. We'll see. Christian Watson, is he really going to come in from the second freaking round and make some things happen, like, immediately? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different question marks here. The offensive line is solid. John Runyan, Bakhtiari is still there. Solid stuff there. And then the defense, very true. Kenny Clark, Lowry, and Reed, that defensive line, pretty solid. Now you guys add Quay Walker along, Preston Smith is there. You guys have a solid linebacking core. And then the secondary, Gary Stokes, Amos, and Savage. Also, Jair Alexander, as we know, he's one of the most, in my opinion, one of the best. I'm sorry, Gary's a linebacker. Alexander, Savage, Amos, and Stokes. Jair Alexander is, one of my favorite corners in the league. The guy is solid, damn good corner, one of the best in the league in my opinion. So, you guys have a pretty good, the defense is solid, but it's true. I totally understand. The offense does have question marks on it right now. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, and those some question marks at that because we have, as you've mentioned, we have Lazard, we have Watkins, we have Amari Rodgers. We have even fourth-year Juwan Winfrey, who has done pretty much nothing yet. Mm-hmm. He's there. It's in his fourth year. We have Randall Cobb, whom I love and who has proved crucial in short distances.
Yes.
Even though he's a wide receiver, he has proved crucial in short distances because after all, he's a veteran. And having him come back as part of Rodgers, he was part of the deal. He was one of Rodgers' requirements to stay in Green Bay. But then we have these rookies. We have Christian Watson. We have a fourth rounder, a seventh rounder. This team has shown just in the past 20 years, just this century, we've had Donald Driver, we've had Greg Jennings, we've had Jordy Nelson, the very same Randall Cobb, we've had Davante. They have made a mark, and they have positioned this team as a team of wide receivers. Of course, that's because we also have a QB who has proven himself to be a fantastic asset for them. But right now, they are every wide receiver we have left is a huge question mark, especially because we've lost our best, and what we have left is proven, but there is still a big question mark because they're either veterans or they're very young and still need to mature a little bit more to really show what they're made of. So, it's a very young team in terms of offense, but I do trust LaFleur. He's been diversifying our offense. He's shown versatility. And one very important thing, he has shown that he can break Rodgers, that he can, make him understand when Rodgers needs to stop making his own decisions and actually listen to the management.
That is amazing analysis, as always. I completely agree with these. Receivers need to step up, of course, but we're going to find out who's who this year for sure. And just overall amazing analysis. Definitely appreciate you for all of that. And I know our listeners right now are loving this. You're killing it. You're certainly dropping what needs to be said about the Packers at the moment. I agree wholeheartedly. Rodgers had to be pissed after they let go of Devontae Adams and just lots of things. But once again, we need to see. Rodgers is the kind of guy to make receivers, just with how good he throws the ball. So we'll see. But Marcelo, with that said, I know we're ticking down on time right now, coming up on our meeting. But really quick, you guys have this year in your schedule, of course, the NFC North. You guys are playing in. Then you have, it looks like, the AFC East here with the Bills, with the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the good old Jets here. And then it looks like you have who else? Who else is here? And then I think it's the NFC East. Yes. So that looks like fun this year. You guys have the Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys have here the Washington Commanders. And let's see here. Yeah, so you guys have the entire division here. Really excited for that for you guys. I know those Giants are playing in there as well. And then your two miscellaneous teams. Let's see, who are they? Let's see, taking a look. The Tennessee Titans out of the AFC South.
Yes, we have the Titans, and we have the Rams.
And Tampa Bay. Oh, that's right, the Rams. It's right. It's the miscellaneous team here. The Rams out of the NFC West. So, with that said, Marcella, what do you think this season? How do you think your Packers fare up against this schedule? What do you think you guys are going to be doing this year?
Well, NFC North is going to be interesting, mainly because, we're going to be facing a lot of familiar faces. We lost Darius Smith to the freaking Vikings. So having him as a pass rusher on the other end will not feel good. That's going to be so very sad. Having to face Equanimous St. Brown on the Bears, that's not going to feel good either. So those are going to be sad, but I mean, not to brag, but we're going to probably crush the Bears as we do every year. Probably going to... The Vikings are probably going to crush us in Minnesota because that's what they have been doing for the past, 6 years. But we're going to crush them at home. Buccaneers is going to be an interesting match. I wouldn't venture to say that we might win that because it's going to be tough. So I'd cautiously say that I hope for a win there. That's probably going to win that one. I mean, against the Packers are going to probably win that one. Giants, Packers are probably going to win that one. Jets, I dare say the Packers are probably going to win. Commanders, I dare say the Packers are probably going to win that one. Although last year for Washington was pretty interesting. The Bills are going to be a formidable rival. That's a team that I've been very interested in watching for the last couple of years. The Lions, that's going to be either, it can go either way. Because we can crush them for a difference of 20 points, or they can win in a last field goal. So the Lions are going to be weird as always.
Yeah.
Cowboys, I think Packers are going to win. Titans are also a team that can give us a surprise. But given that it's at Lambeau, I think that probably Packers are going to have it easier. Eagles, probably Packers going to have it easy. Bears, we're going to crush. Rams, that's going to be interesting because it's at Lambeau. So that's going to be interesting. And they're coming from their championship, so that's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward for the Rams season. They're going to have a good one.
I am with you. I'm looking forward to this whole season. This is going to be so much fun, especially these Packers are going to have so much fun. So, Marcella, we have reached that final whistle here. And I do got to say here, there are 3 other teams that you don't like in this division. You have clearly stated it already. And, I think it's time to kick them a little bit harder. Marcella, you know the segment. I know the segment. We all know the segment. It's time to stick it to them. So you tell us how you think those other 3 teams are going to do this season. Of course, in the NFC North, you know those other 3 teams. And then, of course, let us know how you really feel about them. You have 2 minutes on the clock. Marcella, stick it to them.
Well, I got to give them that they have been doing some interesting moves. Detroit could do better than Jared Goff. I mean, they got a decent QB. They could do better. This is with Jamal Williams. They should be giving him a better team. Justin Fields, Chicago, I love the city. Can't stand the team. They have a Equanimous St. Brown now, so they're giving Justin Fields some tools. They should use him. Kirk Cousins, poor Minnesota. They should use him. Still, I don't think they're going to take that NFC championship away from us. That's just going to be too difficult for them. We're still dominating the North. We're still going to be kings of the North. And I think I've still got time to spare. There's just not that much that the rest of the NFC North can do against the Packers. At least not for now. At least not with Matt LaFleur as head coach and Aaron Rodgers as our QB. Let's talk about that in a couple more years when Rodgers is finally gone from Packers.
This that was probably one of my favorites of the whole entire thing so far. That was great. Way to step on everybody. Way to absolutely step on the NFC North. Wow. And you pretty much just let everybody know that Rodgers is daddy and he's going to stay daddy. So I think that was great. Marcella, it has been amazing. As always, you know the drill here at the end. Your final plug. Where can all these diehard Packers fans find you, and anything else you want to share to end out the segment?
Well, anyone who wants to keep on chatting Packers or movies, because that's my other topic that I tweet about, can find me on Twitter at Marce_Vargas88, which is the year I was born, and Instagram, same username, Marce_Vargas88. I mostly tweet and post about either movies or the Packers, so that's about it. And yeah, I'll be happy to chat with anyone and everyone about football, about sometimes soccer too, because I sometimes do that too. Let's see, a lot of movies, a lot of film, TV too, and that's about it.
Ain't nothing wrong
That's what I can plug.
Ain't nothing wrong with any of that. All good stuff there. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, where's that applause button? Marcela Vargas, my goodness, what a job. Way to stick it to him at the end. Great analysis as always, and we made it just in time. Thank you so much for being here today, and we really, truly appreciate you stopping by and making the time for us.
It's been super fun. I love being on the show, you know it, and I'm very happy to have been here talking about my favorite team, of course, and I'd love to, keep in touch, and I'll, of course, be listening to this show during the season, so let's keep talking about the Packers.
Hey, that's right. Let's keep it. Hashtag Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
That's right. Thank you again, Marcela. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, Larry.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Marcela Vargas, my goodness. Once again, great stuff. She's awesome. So glad to have her back on here. And, well, that is going to conclude NFC North and NFC Week. We have made it! How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, stay tuned. You already know what's next. My final weigh-in is coming to town, and it's going to be a fun one. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the conclusion of NFC Week right here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back with my final weigh-in after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you looking for a sports show that maybe isn't 100% about sports?
Then you might want to check out the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Most sports shows cover only scores and stats, and while we're not opposed to that, we dig a little deeper into sports issues and some of the hottest topics in athletics.
In addition to sports, we take a journey through my neck of the woods, pop culture with movie reviews of both sports and non-sports films.
Speaking of pop culture, make sure to participate in our game nights, where we quiz each other on our specialties, and you, the listeners, can win IE Sports Radio apparel.
We always have a great time learning more about each other's worlds, one show at a time.
So join us each week on the Sports Couple Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Man, what a show, right? Can you give it up for all of our guests today? That was awesome. Thank you, Mr. Adam Karnick. Thank you, Mr. Stephen A. Turner. Thank you, Mr. Zachary Puplis, and thank you, Miss Marcela Vargas. What a show that was, and thank you to everybody who not only tuned in today, thank you to everybody who was not only just, a part of the show, but to everybody who tuned in as well. It was awesome. We don't have a lot of time left here, but my final weigh-in is going to be pretty... This is the most simple, complex final weigh-in I think I've ever given. And honestly, it's the best way to go about this because there are so many question marks surrounding this division. It's insane. So, with that said, you guys, thanks again for being here, and definitely appreciate you all. Let's do it. And yes, I know you guys heard the drop, the Sports Cup Perspectives, which has only had like 3 shows this entire year. We gotta make a return. Sorry, Cecilia's over there typing on the computer as we speak because she's doing homework. Yeah, we've had a pretty busy life in the last 6 months, but it's all good. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We promise, because gotta get some things ironed out with the show and the details and the busyness and the new jobs and the careers and, all those things. So we're coming. But anyway, with that said, you guys, my final weigh-in on the NFC North as we conclude NFC Week. It's no surprise that I would put the Packers up top. We know they're elite, and we know that as long as Rodgers is there, it's gonna kind of be the Aaron Rodgers show. If he gets hurt, though, the Packers go down in a blaze of fire. I mean, seriously, I don't know. They really do. They collapse. Regardless, we do know that the Packers are. Whoops! I'm over here hitting the applause button. Man, that was a phantom press from all of the diehards, huh? the diehard, everybody but the Packer fans in there. I gotta love it. And yeah, Taryn, 3 shows in season 2. 3rd season is a charm. Yeah, it's been hectic, man. Life has been crazy, but it's been so great because there's been so many good things happening. But with that said, you guys, I got the Packers between 14-3 and 13-4. I think they're gonna they'll drop a couple, but they're still an elite team. They're still a major playoff team, and I think they're gonna be a deep playoff contender, possible Super Bowl contender. They have Super Bowl caliber team. Of course, Rodgers is a big part of that, but they're just a solid team, and they're very well coached, and they play well. So at the end of the day, I have them up there. I mean, it could even be a 12-5 team. Regardless, they're going to be at the top. Okay, the next 3 teams are absolutely insane. Seriously, absolutely insane. Okay? The Lions, the Vikings, and the Bears in that order. Why do I put the Lions up there? Because, damn it. How do you not win? As you heard me talking to Zach earlier, how do you not win with that roster? Regardless, we have to see what it is out there on the field and not on paper. I don't want to have to call the Lions a paper team, but right now, they could possibly be a paper team if they do really bad. Meaning that, they're great on paper, but just not the same thing on the field. Okay, the way I see it is, I really think, talent-wise, the Lions are better than both the Vikings and the Bears. I feel like right now, the Lions could actually be, like you guys heard Zachary earlier. Zach said that they could possibly be anywhere from freaking 13-4 to 4-13. Honestly, yeah. Well, Taryn, I appreciate you both for tuning in, man, and definitely, catch the rest of the show when you get back. And he's right there, John. He says, surprised, I'm high on the Lions too, LOL. Thought you put them at 4, LOL. No, man, I'm going to go with the Lions at number 2 this year. But you're going to see why and how I'm doing this. In my opinion, the bottom 3 can be in any order because it's who shows up. It really is. Second through fourth place can really be a mixture of all three of these teams. The Packers, I feel like, are going to win the division again. But my goodness, when Aaron Rodgers calls it a career, that's no diss on Jordan Love. But my goodness, you guys, this entire division will be such a toss-up, I really think. The Lions, I have them being anywhere from 10-7. I'm not 13-4 with them, but I will say I think they'll be 10-7 to 7-10. I also think that the Vikings can be anywhere from 10-7 to 7-10. And the Bears, kind of crazy. As much as I think they can also be a 10-7 team, I don't know why I feel this way. I think that because of the young quarterback, because of Fields, and just because their defense really isn't all that, honestly, they could be 10-7 to 6-11. It's just a game difference that I'm putting in their loss column if they were to, be a team with a record that has double-digit losses. Possibly 7-10 as well. But personally, you guys, this division is such a toss-up. Oh, sorry. This division is such a toss-up. The conference is pretty crazy, too. But I just feel like that's the way it can go. And I love it. I love that we have this. I love that we have this type of football in one of the divisions this year. Some of these are pretty clear-cut that, we know who's going to be first, second, and third, and fourth. Easy. This division, we don't know what's going to happen, and I love that. I want more of that. I love these teams that get built so well that we have a very good chance of just a major toss-up. So that's it, you guys. That's what I'm thinking, and that's how I'm feeling. So agree, disagree, however you'd think. But, yeah, Packers and then whatever order. My particular order is going to be Lions, Vikings, and Bears, no matter how they look. And that's it. That's what I'm thinking. So as of right now, it looks to be that way, and I want to see who's going to do what. So with that said, you guys, my goodness, it has been a great week. My goodness, I am doing AFC interviews this whole week, man. This whole weekend, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be having all kinds of fun doing all these interviews and talking to all these diehard fans about the AFC, and I'm loving it. I'm excited for it. And, well, next week we'll get back at it. Next week will be since there's no work this week, I got called in this week, no summer school coming up in this next week. Next week will be a solid 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 3-hour show, and then I got practice with the coach with the team I coach on varsity in the evening. So the next week's shows will be pretty easy. But with that said, you guys, you know what time it is. It's time to cue the music, cause we're out of here. All right, you guys. Once again, gigantic thank you. Huge shout out and thank you to all 16 guests this week. We have made it through the NFC yet again for another year of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. My goodness, that was fun. Loved every minute of it. And had a lot of fun talking to all of you diehards out there, whether you were live or recorded. Once again, this big, huge shout out and thank you to all of you. You're amazing. And you made this show possible and you made it what it was. We're going to be putting up all the Stick It To 'Em segments. As you've seen, I already got the NFC West up. You are going to vote who you thought was the best Stick It To 'Em. Let us know, y'all. Represent your teams. Let us know, and yeah, that would be fun. March Madness style, if you will. So that'll be a lot of fun. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll do a tournament with that or something like that. You let me know who you thought your favorite Stick It To 'Em was, because I thought there were tons of great Stick It To 'Em segments here throughout all of NFC week. Next week, July 25th, Monday, July 25th through Thursday, July 28th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We will have as follows: Monday, the AFC West. Oh yeah, get ready. That's gonna be that's like, in my opinion, like the new powerhouse division of the NFL, or one of the new powerhouse divisions of the NFL, maybe under the NFC West. Just laughing here at Terrence's comment, NFC North equals NFC East Junior. pretty much there. So thank you very much, Terrence. It's a great show, Larry. Thank you very much, Terrence. Appreciate you, brother, and great shows to you as well, man. Keep up the great work. So next week as follows: July 25th, AFC West. July 26th, AFC East. July 27th, AFC South. And July 28th, NFC North. We'll finish off with the North, just how we did this week for NFC week. And then we'll have all 32 teams completed and let the preseason get ready to begin. With that said, you guys, it has been a great first week of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC week is in the books, and AFC week is coming hot, starting on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great week and a great show, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.